Hey everyone, welcome. It's another great live stream because you're watching. I'm Suzette Speaks. I'm live today with a casting director. She is the founder of her own casting agency here in Miami. She started her industry journey as an actress, moved to behind the scenes, and she's going to spill the topic for tonight, Hollywood secrets. You guys, we have been talking a lot about Hollywood over the last few weeks, and I'm so glad I have an expert finally to break down all of the myths, all of the behind the scenes. She's lived it. She's originally from LA. She's going to come through and bless us with some personal stories, firsthand knowledge. And of course, she's doing big things right now as the founder of the Girl Gang Casting Collective. Are y'all ready for a show? I just want to welcome everyone, whether you're watching on YouTube or we're simulcasting tonight on Facebook. I want to welcome you. I'm Suzette Speaks. For those of you who have never seen my show, welcome. I'm a TV host and attorney out of Miami. So I have a fellow Miami girl in the building tonight. She's doing big things, like I said, in the entertainment industry. And there's so much mystery and mystique around what goes on in Hollywood. Some of y'all been calling it Hollywood weird. But yeah, we're going to put some respect on their name. We're going to ask the questions about how people get roles. We're going to ask about reality TV shows. Y'all want to know how to be on a reality TV show? All of that. And of course, I am curious mostly about how decisions about what projects get green lighted go, and what it's like to be a woman, a very attractive woman, as you'll see her, in an industry that is still very male dominated. And I know there are so many assumptions I think people make about what goes on in Hollywood, but she knows straight up. Are y'all ready to speak with this lady? I am. So again, Suzette Speaks here. Hit the like button as you come in. This is about 7:20 on a beautiful Miami night. We are here again with a behind the scenes exclusive interview with a founder of her own casting agency. Ladies, I know there are guys watching, but I always want to say, girls, guess what? She is casting for big projects, like for Netflix. Like, it's for real out here. She is legit. She's worked on big productions. If you look on her Instagram, and I've left it in the description, she has been casting for a brand new show. I'm going to let her tell you about it. But yeah, if you want to know what goes on in Hollywood, this is the show for you tonight. So hit the like button. I'm really excited. Like I said, I've only been able to speculate like everybody else on the behind the scenes and who does what and who gets to make what decision and how it really works in terms of actors and who gets casted. But she has seen both sides, both in front of the camera and now behind the camera, helping to provide roles for women, and particularly women of color. So I'm so excited, a woman after my own heart in this entertainment world. But I'm sure she also has some stories, y'all, about the scheming. I don't know. Do the actresses who are competing for roles, do they really get along? I don't know. Is there this kind of cat fight world going on? Is there that casting couch that we hear about going on? I don't know. What's real? What's fake? You get to ask her tonight. I'm so excited to have her on. Are you ready? Well, before I bring her up, you got to get them likes up. This is how this works. Not long stroking you today. I want to bring her right up because I want to use her time very, very wisely. There are many of us who are curious, never really been in Hollywood. I mean, I've visited LA. I've gone actually to live sitcom tapings. I've met with, I don't know, I guess they would consider themselves professionals, actual professional actors, maybe not working at the time when I met them, but always on the hunt. This type of industry is not for the faint of heart. Obviously, there are a lot of no's, a lot of letdowns. I want to know how she has coped with it over the course of her career. And of course, I need the scoop, y'all. I want the juice on really what's happening out there. Is this kind of like this Illuminati society? You guys have been kind of always talking about Hollywood and the Illuminati, but I don't think so. I want to know. So we're going to find out firsthand tonight. But before we bring her on, let me just say hello to a couple of folks in the chat. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button real quick as you come in. I see you, RM, number one in the chat today. Welcome. Doug, you're here for the long show. I'm not long stroking you. I'm bringing her right up because I know she has a wealth of information about Hollywood. So that's the topic for tonight. I hope you guys are interested. I see you so busy in the chat, so I guess that's a yes. Nice to see you, Sally. Welcome. Marika in the building. Nice to see you. Welcome. Hit the like button if you will. Good evening, Miss AKA Lady. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you watching. All right, says Sunbreeze. We got entertainment tonight. Let's go. I don't have the soundboard with a nice salute to that, but yes, we building as we fly, says RM. Thank you so much, but I appreciate each and every one of you for watching, for spending time with us tonight. It should be a fun conversation, y'all. So whether you're watching Team Live or Team Replay, you know what to do. Please make sure you like, share, and comment. Let me say hello to a couple other people as I see in the chat. Ariel, Realtor of Atlanta. What's up? First time live chat. Yay. Welcome. Nice to have you here. The Miss Creative, how are you? First of all, are y'all still tripping on my last 3 minutes of last show? I'm not going to give it away. Shout out to those of you who were showing love in the chat. Can I tell you this? My special guest, I'm going to give you this story. I wonder if this has ever happened to you, my darling. I thought I had closed the live stream and I was sitting in front of my computer, thank God not saying anything, for 3 long minutes at the end of last show. And I was checking my email, and I checked a couple Cash Apps, and I looked up at the screen, and it showed 30-some people were still watching, and I just could not understand, why are there 30-some people still watching? Oh, because I didn't close out the broadcast. First time for everything, but I hope that will be my last time. I hope that will never, ever happen to me again. But thank y'all who they were in the chat literally. Sue, you're still here. Sue, we can still see you. Sue, close your screen. It was anxiety causing. I probably lost a couple hours of sleep after thinking about what could have happened there. But thank God y'all was with me. But go back and watch the last stream. The last 3 minutes were, I don't know, some people would say heavenly, but I don't know. Afterwards, I was like, I can't believe that just happened. But it happened. So I'm sure my guest has had these faux pas and things like, unexpectedly making unforced errors. And what does that mean? What does that look like in Hollywood? And how can you bounce back? Because no one's perfect, right? So yes, Marika say no Illuminati here. We ain't playing that. But I'm glad to see everyone. Welcome, Sally. Nice to see you. Big up everybody. Ooh, we might have to drop the link. My brother, I don't know if you know this gentleman, but he's an actor out in LA. I've had him as a guest myself, Kenarda. I might have to drop the link just for you, brother, because I know you, DL. There are a few of you guys who have worked in Hollywood. So I may need help a little bit later guiding the conversation for those of you who I know have that background. So welcome. This is the conversation for you, brother. I'm so glad you are here. Yes. Doug said, I enjoyed every minute of the last stream blooper. I'm glad you enjoyed because I was painfully shocked when I looked up and saw all that was going on. Guys, this is kind of a relaxed show. I'll tell you quickly, I'm SuzetteSpeaks. I love talking and having great conversations. My channel is about building community around an interest in pop culture, current events, sometimes social justice and legal issues as well. And I try to find a personal development angle in anything I talk about. What does that mean? So all of us are works in progress. We are never, ever going to be perfect. So I try to use different stories and what's going on in pop culture as kind of a teaching tool as to what we can do better as far as making better decisions for our own lives. So we're going to take that approach today. Again, I'm so glad she told me nothing is off the table when it comes to our discussion tonight. Thank you, Tessa, from Texas. Thanks, Sally, for inviting me. Y'all so cool. Thank you for spreading the word. Yes. Miss Creative says, Sue, I was waiting to see if you said something crazy. Yes, I am nosy. It was about 35 people still watching. I said, wait a minute. Whoa, yes, this is where we are tonight. Canardex says, high vibrations to all. I'm all ears on this one. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Again, I know you and there were several other people I was thinking about that would be probably perfect for the conversation to join us later. Yay, DL with the super chat. Big up yourself. Thank you. What's good? I hope you never forget to stop the stream. DL. if I smoked a cigarette, I would have to go outside and smoke a cigarette. I was feeling kind of violently. I was like sitting there. Thank God I was just sitting. I was just sitting, kind of digesting everything. And I look up and I'm like, why? And I had turned off the light and everything. And I was like, why is there people watching? Still watching? We're live. Anyway, so go back and watch that just for kicks. Y'all, we try to live and we try to learn. Okay, we have a perfect teacher tonight. I'm so excited to have her for the very first time here. Again, born in LA, now a Miami transplant with her own casting agency here in Miami. Y'all, let me get to work here. Are y'all ready? Thank you again for showing the love, DL. Always appreciate you, my brother. And for everyone watching, I hope you guys are excited as I am to welcome for the first time to the SuzetteSpeaks show, none other than, I'm gonna let her introduce herself, Miss Kelley Allen. Welcome. Hey, sound machine.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me, Suzette.
I'm so excited. I'm thankful that you're here. Again, I think a little bit of a fish out of water because I know of Hollywood. I've never worked in Hollywood, so to speak. I've only worked here in Miami. So I'm excited to have you, my dear. So as we get started, can you please, I know I did a shorter intro, but can you please introduce yourself to the folks and tell us who you are?
Sure. So my name is Kelley Allen, and I am mostly a reality television casting director. I've been doing this for too long, 15 plus years. I hate to age myself, but I have been in this thing back in the day when we would go to nightclubs and tell people, hey, do you want to be on TV? And like sign up on a clipboard. And thank God for, technology. Now we just get to find most of our people online and interview them online and get them into these amazing shows. So I've been doing this for quite a while. I have worked on a little bit of everything. So depending on where we go with questions or stories, I definitely have some good ones. And yes, growing up in LA, I also did a bit of, on-camera stuff as a child. You mostly just saw my hair kind of swinging and things. Fun projects, though, like the Steve Harvey Show, Moesha, the Jamie Foxx Show, Toys with Robin Williams, Devil in a Blue Dress with Denzel. I mean, the list goes on and on. And then I just kind of made my curve into casting. And I have been here ever since. So thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. So yes, she has the real life experience. I didn't know you started. So let me put myself back on here. Let me say, I'm happy talking to yourself, but I'm so excited that you have real life experience having worked in Hollywood for a very long time. So as you guys come in, welcome her. This again is Miss Kelley Allen. Her agency is called Girl Gang Casting Collective. So she said she'd been doing this since way back when you just knocked on doors, or I guess bumped into people at events more so, and got people into movies. And as she said, she's worked mostly with reality shows. So that's really interesting. Tonight's topic is Hollywood industry secrets. So where shall we begin, my dear? So tell us first and foremost how you grew up. I know you are from LA,
yeah.
And so there are many, I guess, lifestyles, many different, areas in LA. So tell us a little bit about your growing up and how it was for you growing up in Los Angeles.
Sure. So I grew up in East Los Angeles. So, just east of the main like downtown area. I grew up near Cal State LA. So in a little pocket called El Sereno. Not many people know what that is or where that is. So I just say kind of like Boyle Heights area, but definitely East LA. If you looked outside, you very much so saw like cholos and cholas and gang violence and tagging on the walls and the little taco shops and like the people that make the cool fruit with like the lemon and the chili. Like we've been doing that. Like that just everywhere else. We've been doing that, and it used to be $1. So thanks for gentrifying that. So yeah, the neighborhood wasn't easy, right? Like it definitely was kind of the hood, and I grew some thick skin and learned how to deal with an array of personalities. But I just always got along with kind of anybody. People didn't really know what the hell I was, so it was like, is she black? Is she Mexican? What is she, Puerto Rican? Like, kind of just like
we will code switch and do what we have to do.
Yeah, kind of rolled into it, but essentially, my family was one of like the only Black families in the entire neighborhood. So that was also a challenge.
So Black, but could pass for Spanish, and everybody was kind of like, okay, so she cool with it.
I definitely have some homies to this day. You know what I mean? My homies.
Yes, of course. That, you know what that sounds like? That sounds like Will I Am. When Will I Am
grew up in the projects that my mother grew up in.
Will I Am talked about being like the only African American among a lot of, I would assume, mostly Mexican Americans in his neighborhood, and how he was like immersed in several cultures growing up. So that's very interesting. Okay, East LA in the building. Yes, the Miss Creative, we say code switching is exhausting as it can be, but it's oftentimes necessary depending on where you are and what you need out of the situation. But welcome again. Y'all show some love, hit the like button. We're here talking to casting director Miss Kelley Allen of her own casting agency called Girl Gang Casting Collective. So growing up in East LA, did you always want to get into show business? Is that a kind of dream everyone has out there?
You know, ironically, I mean, I definitely was one of those kids, right? Like that had a lot of time on our hands. Like my siblings, I have two sisters and they're like 14 and 16 years older than me. So I really have like three moms, right? So growing up, I was the only little kid in the house. And I definitely was that kid that was like, oh, Kelley, come on here and show us that dance. And I'd come out and, do a dance, or I would make up commercials in like my grandma's mirror. Like if my uncles had like Afro Sheen, I'd be like, hey, you get the Afro Sheen. So like I was always entertaining myself. So I was never opposed. I thought I probably had the right like personality and like little spark for that world. But growing up where I grew up, there wasn't agents and managers coming to like scout people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there was one girl that I went to elementary school with that she was the only white girl and I was the only black girl at the school. And we kind of linked up, and her mother had her in like the musical theater arts and had a manager, etc. And when her mother met me, she's like, oh my God, you have to meet our manager lady. I was like, okay. I was about 8 or 9 years old. And when I met the manager woman, she's the one that introduced me and started getting me to audition and putting me kind of like featured extra roles. So you would see me, but I'm not saying much. Like I was in the movie Friday. I was one of the kids that ran to the ice cream truck.
In like, Friday? Okay, now we got to go look. Like, how old were you around this time?
Oh my God. I was maybe like 11 or 13. Aww. I don't know.
So that was your debut Friday?
No. The very first ever project, me and my sister Heidi took me to set. And they were like, well, if she wants to be in the scene, she was like, okay. It was for the Wonder Years.
Oh, I love that show. Yeah. I love the new version too.
Yeah, we were like,
they're doing a great job with it.
We were like in the mall, but like you saw us go by, and so that
you're like, don't look for me. Like episode 7 of scene 2.
Yeah, we would tell the whole family, right? And
that's what's up.
Yeah, so it was an interesting little run. It was interesting to be a kid in that world because when you get to set, you had to sign in, you had to have a tutor, you had to complete your schoolwork, you had to get work permits to even be there. So there definitely was a process being a kid, like actor, so to speak. Yeah. And again, being from the neighborhood that I'm from, no one was really introduced to that world. So I was kind of like the little local celebrity. Like everybody was so excited to see my hair swing by, or to see me scoot off. Like there was a little cameo on Moesha that I did, and you could see me really good. And I remember the night that it aired, my phone was like ringing off the hook. Like, Kelley, were you just on Moesha? Did you just on Moesha? I was like, yes, that was me. And then the next day at school, it's like, oh, Kelley's a star. Like it was really funny. Like the neighborhood loved it. Like I always felt so much support from my peers and my family. But like I said, initially it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to grow up and be an actor. I just
kind of came into it. So shout out to the one other, I guess ostracized, not even ostracized, but different kid. You're friends with the white girl, you're the black girl, and everyone else is probably Latino or Latina or some kind of other mix. I think people who live in different parts of the country do not understand California like that. Because I remember visiting even like San Diego, and this is like 5-6 years ago. And the way, again, the minority populations across our country, depending on where you are and what cities, change. So of course, being from Miami, we have a lot of Cuban American and we have a lot of Afro-Caribbean. But when I visited LA and I visited San Diego and San Fran, I was like, wait a minute. The majority minority here happens to be Asian Pacific Islander and Latino. So I remember getting off the plane and going to like the mall with my homegirl in San Diego. And I was like, wait a minute, where are the black people? I thought this is California. And there we were like, like other black people would like see us and like walk beeline towards us because, the demographic changes are so, stark in terms of what part of the country you're in. I don't know if people really understand that about Cali because we think of, Oakland, or we think about other pockets of, really historically, black cultural centers. But I forgot, I looked it up once as far as the amount of the black population in California, but it was like less than 10%. It wasn't a whole lot.
Yeah, and like you said, there's definitely pockets, right? So just like with most states, in larger cities, there's pockets where a certain race starts to kind of migrate, and it's like, okay, we're good, we're safe here, we can move along and get along here, and then more people just kind of grow, and that area will become, an Asian area or a
Right.
Latino area or a black area, and LA is really no different. I mean, it's definitely opened up a lot more now, where there are areas where it's just like a big melting pot. You go to the
Yeah.
store, it's a little bit of everything, but
Yeah.
you definitely have some of those base cities from like back in the day that
Chinatown and
are,
yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
like
you kind of know how to maneuver. And I think my upbringing and my family and everyone, it's like we learned so much in how to carry ourselves and how to be proud of who we are no matter where we were.
right.
People ask, oh, I'm black, like I still let you know, but I'm
Yeah.
Californian too, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So it was a good way to get that good balance of
Yeah,
like,
no, it's great to be able to kind of, and I found it here in South Florida too. We growing up here again, the multiculturalism allows you to really be a chameleon. Like
yeah,
you're still yourself. You're always black.
yeah,
But you know how to roll with the Jewish population. You know how to roll with Hispanic population. I know how to deal with my Zoes or my Haitian Americans or whoever I'm around. It makes you far more versatile, I think. The comments are making me smile. Drop a comment as we're talking, guys. I'll read some of them. The Miss Creative says, I'm not very informed on different cultures. That's okay. She's like, I'm from the country south. Hey, I hear you. Kenardak adds, yep, San Diego is a different vibe completely. Absolutely. Yeah, there's so many different, like I say, cultural centers where different groups have made an impact on the economy, the culture, the industry. So it's very interesting. Like I said, we see a lot about, South Central LA and all this, but it's very interesting. You walk across the street and it's like the biggest houses and the highest property values in all of California. So it's I don't think people necessarily understand. Yes, very good point. Fluid between cultures and how different pockets say a lot. That's about what the country is and how it changes a lot. As you drive up on that beautiful Pacific Coast Highway. I love that drive. So talking to casting director Miss Kelley Allen about her first getting into the industry. So she started as a child, interesting, through a friend's mom, kind of be like, hey, you should do this too. Kind of got you into what, Moesha, Wonder Years, I love it, Friday. So kind of cameo start. And when did you start to take it more seriously? Or did you decide, was there a moment where you were like, okay, I like this, my mom's taking me, this is fun, but I would want to pursue this more as a career? When was that? And what inspired you to do that? Uh-oh, I think Kelley might be frozen. Let me see. Well, hit the like button, y'all. Kelley, for some reason, I don't see, maybe it's the internet. The internet does not want us to be great. But I'm here with casting director, Miss Kelley Allen, founder of her own casting agency. Hopefully it comes back here shortly. But in the meantime, hit the like button. We're talking about Hollywood secrets tonight. I'm so grateful that she said yes. We've been talking in the last 2 weeks about everything from the Will Smith saga to other things that we've seen. All right. Hopefully she can log back in. Sometimes stuff happens, guys, and we are live. So we got to make do. I'm going to drop the link real quick. And like I said, maybe have Kenardak and DL. This link is for them to come on up later so that my folks who have experience in Hollywood can give me some of their insight So we are going to make sure we oh, this is so cute. So her actual aunt is here. Auntie, my mom, is so proud of you. She's crying. She said, "Go, Kelita. Love your big sis." Oh, she brought family with her. How fantastic. So I'm going to join the convo. This, again, the link is only for Kinadak and DL right now. And if we have questions later, we can definitely bring up folks. Again, I think it must be her internet. Sometimes, again, things don't want us to be great, and we are trying our best. But all she has to do is come on back. So let's see if any of you guys want to come on up. If you have questions, I want to get into how she got into, like I say, taking this seriously, moving from acting to casting, being in front of the camera, because everyone knows people in front of the camera, but majority of Hollywood jobs are behind the scenes, right? We've talked about it a little bit on our show before, but I want to talk to her a little bit more about that environment of how people and DL. I know you've dealt with this on your show with your interviews of people who have worked in Hollywood and how people are behind the scenes. But yes, the gentleman, the link has been dropped, and you guys can come on up. I appreciate you guys being here. A little bit of short pause, but hopefully she's frozen in my back screen, so hopefully I can get her back up here momentarily. But Kennarda adds, shout out to her for going the independent route. Yes, making her own casting agency. That's a big deal. So I want to learn a little bit more about that. And I want to find out. The gentlemen are in the back chat. Thank you so much. I'm going to bring you up momentarily, y'all. She is having a little bit of a technical difficulty, but appreciate y'all being here. What do you think of the conversation so far? And what should I ask her?
What's good, people?
Nice to see you both. This is up both of y'all's alley. Who wants to start? What should I ask her?
Let Kennard go first.
Oh, yeah, I was just sorry. I had to X out. What's up, everyone? What's up? How's it go there? What
Nice
up,
to see
DL?
you. Thank you for coming up.
Holding it down. Yeah, you know what? I'm just really glad that you went the independent route, because that's the way to go. Because Hollywood, I think, we tend to rely on Hollywood. They seem to be the gatekeepers, but, sometimes you got to do it on your own. And I'm kind of curious to see what led her to leave Los Angeles and make the journey out to Florida and make things happen out there. Because I've actually considered the same thing.
Really? Because I keep thinking sometimes, I think when you live a place, you don't really think it's popping. Sometimes I really underestimate the network that's here, the opportunity that's here. My cousins would tell me that all the time. Like, because we live here, we take it for granted. And there are a lot of people that do pop or get their big break from working on projects down here. I have several friends who are actors. Do you know a lady named Stacey Rose? I don't know if you know Stacey Rose. She was in what is the show Dwayne
Sounds
Johnson shot down here, where he was a sports agent. I forget the name of it. It was also really well received. It'll come to me randomly, but
probably
anyway,
know her by face.
But she's been, I mean, hustling, have a family, and I'm always like, good husband, good life, because it's hard. She does radio as well, but she's always, working projects and kind of keeping herself very flexible so she can do so. But yeah, the move to Miami, I'm very curious about. How about you, DL? Any questions? I know you always have some good ones. They say I have good ones for you, but you always have some good ones.
Hey, I'm more the dark side of the force. You know what I mean? I'm sitting over there like, come join the set. We talking about Hollywood, like, ooh, you know what I mean?
Here go to Illuminati, y'all. Here go to Illuminati.
But I guess I would definitely love to know if she worked with any of the big studios, the big organizations, like, was she with Fox or like with NBC or with Paramount, Saban, something like that. And I would also I'm curious, like, did she ever do any PA work, any assistant type stuff? Because that's where you see the wildness. That's where,
like, personal assistant to these people.
Well, sometimes, like, if as an assistant, they might send you out like, hey, go pick up the talent, whoever the talent, you enter the name of the talent. And so if you're in Studio City, they tell you to go get the talent's in Malibu, right? That's a long ride out and back. I mean, you're talking hours. So you're in the car with someone, and you're an attractive woman, and you got a dude in the back.
You see how beautiful she is.
Exactly.
That's why I'm like, I want sis to know some stories now. If anybody's been tried, it's been a woman like this who is quite, all respect on her name, but quite attractive. That some of that going, into this industry, that there she is. There she is. Internet don't want us to be great. The gentlemen have already helped me to set up and frame some questions. Let me do a little switcheroo here. Welcome back, my dear.
Sorry, I literally interview people all day, right? Like I depend on my internet, and then it just completely it's like, nah, not right now. Bye.
They don't want us to be great, but it's totally fine. I have two gentlemen here who are already curious. I was asking them if they could interview you, what would they ask? So I have some great questions lined up for you already. So I will go to Kenardoc first.
So the transition from being an actor to casting, because one thing I do notice is that a lot of casting directors are former actors, and they tend to make choices based on their own knowledge of understanding the world of acting. So what was your biggest decision in terms of making that transition from going into the casting process?
Well, Kennard, am I saying your name right? I might be messing it up, but
that's his real name, but that's how he said yes.
I was literally 13. So there was no decision process. Like the lady that represented me at the time, the manager that would just her specialty was booking kids on feature films and television shows as featured extras, right? Like that's it. And because again, having limited resources back then and no one really coming to look for kids in the hood to star on shows, once she decided she left her business. And when she did, we were kind of left with like, what do we do now? And my mom, she was so cute. She took me to a couple of those open call things, and they were complete scams, which I learned so then I can give people feedback on those. By the way, if anybody ever asks for money, don't do it.
Yes.
But me and my mom went to one of those open call things, like, oh, we love her, and here's a contract, and all you gotta do is give us $2,000, and we'll give you headshots, and and she did it, and I think we still have those headshots in the garage somewhere. We got a bad taste in our mouth about that scammy side of the industry, and because we couldn't find that legitimate connect like we had, I just kind of pulled back, and I just went back to school as usual. I just did kind of the normal thing, and it wasn't until I was 18 or 19 starting to kind of come back out in the Hollywood scene a bit, hitting the clubs and stuff. I got scouted again by a casting director that was then doing music videos and kind of urban, calendars and things like that. And so I had a stint, and I did a little stint of R&B music videos, like Faith Evans and Missy Elliott and P. Diddy, and I mean, the list goes on and on.
You was on the scene, girl. That's what's up. Okay, cool.
It's so weird. I have, but I haven't. You know what I mean?
Okay, you're okay, not all the way. Okay, I got you.
I have to really point it out. So anyways, long answer, but I really didn't make a decision. It was kind of made for me. And I just was like, oh, that industry is scammy and they just want money. And I was kind of stuck my tongue out and moved on, and then re-entered as sort of this video girl for a minute. And then I hated that. I thought that was disgusting. I was like, I'm not bringing my bathing suit to another audition. I'm over it. And I pulled the plug. I literally was like, don't call me for this shit anymore, basically. And then the guys that would call me often, there's a couple of pretty big casting directors that kind of cover that side of the industry. And I was close with them from, doing a ton of work. And I said, hey, I want to learn what you do, behind the scenes. Let me work with the girls. They'll be more comfortable with me if they have to dance in front of the camera or put a bathing suit on. And so then I transitioned that way. That was my actual first introduction to casting. And I did that for a little bit. And, miraculously, the budgets never came through. So never got my money. And then I was like, yeah, I'm out of here. And went again to sort of to work, did a bunch of random jobs. I'm literally a Jane of all trades. I ran a tanning salon chain, probably the only Black person to ever do that. All Black cousins coming to get that glow. And a little bit of everything. I worked for Tiffany and Company, and I met a girl that was like, hey, I do reality casting, and we were just chatting one day. It was a brand ambassador job, and we're just stuck there chatting. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Like I've done like music video casting, and she's like, oh my God, we need one more person on our team. Like, I think you'd be great. Would you be down to come and interview?
Wow.
And I interviewed. I got the position on the spot, and the first job ever was for Playboy TV. I got jumped right into the gang. I like to say.
Wait. Hold that story. We want to get there. And I'm grateful. You knew what to ask. I like it. So I am grateful. We have wonderful folks that have just joined us. I see Miss Kelley Allen is here, and she brought her whole fam. Yeah. Libby's in the chat. Libby's like, that's my beautiful, hardworking, good-hearted little sister. You go, girl. I love it. The family is definitely here supporting. Ballers, thank you, C. Marie. I couldn't remember that show. I was talking before you came back in. I have a friend girl, big up Stacey Rose, who's an actress. And I was wondering, we were curious about the move to Miami, and I was just like, well, I have friends who worked on actual real big productions here. Welcome, Simon Hectic. Haven't seen you in a minute. My brother from across the pond, UK, in the building. Yes, how difficult? Miss Gold Girl asks, how easy? It sounds like it was pretty like kind of happenstance. You got your first foray into the casting business. We'll hear a little bit more about that. Yes, Mystic Millionaire talking about it was waiting for me. Yay, Sarah, my aunt is in the building. Regina says, yay, glad you're back on. So proud of you. Listen, she brought the fam.
I have hundreds of cousins, you guys, like hundreds. And my family is all based in LA. Like, we are huge. So you will probably see a whole bunch of them popping.
No, we loving it, and we love the support. Shout out to all
LA represent.
Yes, that's in the building. Salute before the billions. I see you. So we're talking to casting director Gideon. I'm reading. Emmanuel says, great conversation, everyone. I'm so happy. Oh, you know him too? Okay, perfect. I'm so happy. She Got Game Media in the building. Thanks, Tandy, for being here. And we have a lot more to discuss. Tonight's topic is Hollywood. The industry secrets, the behind the scenes from people who have literally walked the walk. And working for the first time as a casting director for Playboy TV, I'm sure you have a lot of stories. So picking up there. So about how old were you? Can you place us in terms of the 90s? This is like the late 90s?
This is 2000s, but this is still before we were doing, virtual auditioning. So this is in person. Playboy Television, they had a real, like a kind of like a sexy dating show called Foursome. And each episode would have 4 singles and 2 girls, 2 guys. And the whole thought behind it was like, get on. There was like sexy little like things, like they'd go for a massage or body painting. And so it was very much so geared for them to like hook up. And, but during the casting process, we went to Miami, LA, and I think San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken. And I would literally go to like all the strip clubs to like cast girls, because I knew they would be down, right, and kind of open with showing their bodies and stuff, and open for the opportunity. And whoever was interested, we scheduled them for an audition. They'd come to whichever hotel we were holding our auditions, and literally before they could even slate their name. So those of you that aren't familiar with the term slate, that is when we say, tell us your name, your age, where you live, and what you do, right? You give us your slate. And so before the talent could even slate, we put them on the mark and we said, take all of your clothes off.
Wow.
Right now.
This is an audition, basically?
Literally, because the show was, you had to be super comfortable with those type of circumstances. And the last thing that the network wanted was for people to get on and pretend like, oh yeah, I'm good and I'm down to be naked and blah, blah, blah. And then you cast them and then they're on the show like, I'm not going to do that. So it was our way of showing, it was the way of talent showing us that like they really did not give
wow. So that so here we go. Hollywood is in full effect. So these are young people, all kinds of ages, or I guess if you're going for Playboy TV, people under 30, maybe under 25.
These were like 20s, early 30s range. Yeah, but these were like very much so. Other than maybe some of the girls that were like dancers or professions in that way, like these were very much so like a banker.
And they did it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was actually a pretty interesting little series. Like the stuff that they got into and the shenanigans and the dates and the hooking up and the shower scenes. Like it was a
Oh
vibe.
my gosh. Oh my gosh. So this HBO plus right now. Y'all come on in. Thank you for the super chat. Pretty awesome and pretty awesome JM. Thank you so much for the love. Loving the energy tonight. She says, okay, so this is the first kind of like, okay, stuff like this really does happen. The secrets are out. Yes. So there are auditions, especially if you're going for an audition. I'm sure for something like Playboy TV, they are going to ask you to do things that are not, I think, possibly required for other auditions, and I guess we'll get into that. And people, are they taped when this is happening? Is this recorded?
Yeah, this was, this was their audition. So essentially, we would have them drop their clothes, and now it's like now and what do you like? Tell us about your personality. And again, this is my very first ever project. So my casting director, I was the associate. So my casting director was leading,
Okay, so you were watching and learning kind of apprenticeship.
Behind the scenes, booking people and emailing and stuff. So I'm like this behind my computer, like, and then I'm like, oh my God. And then all the men, it's cold in here.
I bet. So Miss AKA lady, my mouth dropped. She's like me. Oh, wow. That's a nice way of putting it. I was like, oh, really? Okay, they're doing that. So can people say no if they're uncomfortable? They just get kind of like dropped?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, we vetted them ahead of time. Now, keep in mind, this is at least a good 15 years ago.
So standards might be different. Yeah.
I don't know with all of the different movements and stuff if they would get away with this. Right. But, it was very like, it was a good vibe. There wasn't a whole bunch of people and like some weirdos taking photos in the background. Like it was a very professional environment. It was just one camera person, my casting director, and then myself in the room. And because I was vetting everyone on the phone prior to booking them for the audition, I told them exactly what to expect. How to be prepared, wear something cute and sexy, but that was easy to take off because we will want to see your body. And so everyone was, down for the cause and just, I guess, looking for like that little bit of empowerment of like, there's always some freaks somewhere hiding behind the cashier somewhere, doing your home loan.
Oh my
God. There's little freaks in every area. And so I think we were just kind of like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. It's Playboy, right? If you're going to do it on Playboy.
So you feel like everybody kind of knew what they were getting to, showed up, had a kind of pre-conversation about this is probably going to happen. Be ready. If you don't want to come, don't come. So consenting adults doing what we do to be casted. Is that the most kind of crazy out there casting you've done, or you've seen worse? Okay, before you get to that, pause. We into the Hollywood secrets, y'all. I hope you're enjoying. I don't know where this is gonna go, y'all. So I'm just gonna listen and learn.
Be careful what you asked for, girl. I told you.
I said secrets, didn't I? I was like, okay, we're really getting into it. I am so grateful that I'm learning and having this subject matter expert with us tonight. She has gone from actress now to behind the scenes, helping cast some of the biggest productions in the country. Y'all, please drop your comments in or questions in the chat. Casting director Kelley Allen is also the founder of an agency now based in Miami called the Girl Gang Casting Collective. Miss Kelley, can you hear me? Oh Lord, I think she says
Freeze frame.
Yeah,
she froze.
She does this all day, and of course, when we're here in order to do this show, we got to be great. And all of a sudden, it's like problems. So I'm not sure. Have you, as an actor, Mr. Kennarda, experienced any of what she just described?
Not with the exposure of the body, no. But in terms of being asked to do things, you really do. Being an actor is challenging, especially with an audition, because you're around strangers and you're being asked to do certain things for a character or a scene, and you might not be all that comfortable. It really challenges your comfort zone. And although I have not been a part as an actor with something like what she was describing, right, I have been on the casting side of that. So
asking people to do stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, hold that thought. All right, Miss Kelley, no worries. The internet is going to let us be great tonight. Don't you worry, my dear. I want to go over to DL and see if he has any questions for you for what you said, or just off the top of what things he might be curious about, having also been in and around Hollywood. Do you have a question for the beautiful Miss Kelley Allen?
I got a ton, but this is your show. I'll probably have to get Kelley on my show one day, and it'll be stupid. But my question for you, Sister Kelley Allen, is about the casting couch.
Kelley, can you hear us? Hold on.
She froze again.
Jesus Lord, I want this to be a great interview.
She froze again. But
yes, the casting couch. Tell us a question, and when she comes back,
we'll pause it until she comes back. And I think everyone's familiar with the term casting couch and everything like that. But what I wanted to point out is, and like I've said a few times on this subject, that people are willing to do pretty much anything for an opportunity, and there are people on the other side of that that are willing to exploit that. You know what I mean? Like, especially in Hollywood. And I'll give you an example. So Suzette, let's say you're a serious actress. You're about the art. You go in for an audition. You read for the role that they want you to read for, and then they're sitting there still auditioning. Like, you know what? We don't really like you for that role, but would you be willing to read for the role of, let's say, Becky, right? And you're like, sure. You know what I mean? And they want, and you look at it. They give you the script. Becky, okay, this scene, Becky is with her boyfriend, and this is the first time that they've ever kissed. So it's the first kiss scene. And you're reading it, and you see the notes and everything, and then they bring in, hey, Billy, come here. Just do Billy, just the PA who was just sitting over here. Now, 10 minutes later, you and Billy are making out. That's Hollywood.
Yeah, yeah. So all types of scenarios where it's I don't,
or the dark
anxiety
side
producing. I'm trying to think how I would actually react if I went in for because they were just casting down here looking for Love Miami or something like this.
Yeah, don't do that. Stay away from all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I looked at it. Several people sent it to me. I was praying about it. I was like, God, I don't know. I almost wanted just to host it. I didn't want to actually be on contestant. But I thought about what they might ask you to do if you were casting for reality show. Here she is. All right, beautiful. Don't you worry, my love. We are rocking with you. It is, technology. This is what happens sometimes. And I'm grateful that you are hanging in there. So again, we have casting director, Miss Kelley Allen, founder of Girl Gang Casting Collective here in Miami. We have some subject matter experts joining us, having to also be part of my YouTube community, SuzetteSpeaks show YouTube community, and they were just kind of chopping it up with us, and we were all just curious about all of these Hollywood secrets and what really goes on behind the scenes. So DL, I was asking you if you had a question for the beautiful Miss Kelley Allen about things you've seen, and go ahead.
Yes, Kelley, I do have a question. And so here's the thing, and I'll make it quick so you can just delve into it. The casting couch, is that still a thing or no?
To be completely honest,
please do.
Especially since COVID, I don't know if it's still a thing, right? Because a lot of even scripted auditions are still taking place virtually, and people can film themselves and self-submit, right? So like that is still a thing. But listen, right? People in power are gonna flex that power. And depending on whose couch you're near, if they feel like flexing that power or you're doing something for them, like you turn them on a certain way, they might try to make that advance. I think because the way of the world now, with people being able to record and get lawsuits and have these people to have their back, and like there's a different movement now for protection in that kind of a space. So I do think it doesn't happen as often, but do I think it still happens? Hell yes. Like, let's be real. Do I do it? No. I ain't got that.
Thank you, Lord. But yes, well, I think in any workplace across America, when people have power and want to flex it, you can be the victim of almost anything. So I guess acting maybe more prevalent, or just is reflective of the society at large maybe. Kimo has a question. I'll get to your part 2, I'm sure, DL. Kimo asks, how, thank you for the super chat first and foremost, Kimo. Appreciate your generosity. How do you go about working with actors with no experience? I wonder, do you cast like just random Joe Blows off the side of the road? And even now, and how do you go about landing, quote, leading actors? So good questions. Thank you, Kimo.
So again, it really depends on what side of the industry, because the reality and the scripted side are two completely different sides. It's almost like there was a brick wall between us and the scripted side.
The reality TV side and the scripted.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us the difference. Tell us how you would approach in either of these scenarios, depending on which side.
In reality, yes, every day. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for real people, right? Like, we actually prefer you to not have acting experience because we want you to be yourself. You're not getting paid a union rate. You are being yourself. You're not getting lines. And yes, some reality shows will tell you like, oh, go over there or bring this topic up or produce a particular episode. But for the most part, the people really are being themselves. So we definitely will slide in the DMs. If we're looking for a home renovation specialist in a certain area, we are going to Google and find every name that we can find and go to their websites, go to their Instagrams, go to their Facebook pages and message them directly. So your average Joe Blow definitely will get a message from us if we're looking for that. For the scripted side, I think it's just a matter of doing your homework. Like, where do you live? Do you live in LA? Do you live in Detroit? Do you live in Atlanta? Look for agencies or reputable management companies in your area and see if they're accepting new talent. And look on their websites. Are they hosting open calls where you can go in on a random Thursday and, show them yourself and your talent and see if they want to take you on as a client? But it's really just about getting yourself some sort of representation, because they're the ones that are going to send you out for the auditions. I also think it's really important. A lot of people think that because they're funny in front of their family, or they know how to, get in front of a class and make a presentation, that they can be an actor. There are heavy, heavy skills that it takes to be an actor. And just like with any job or any career, you should invest your time and money into that. Meaning, get the proper training, go and earn some skills, know what it means to block, know what it means to, like if a casting director yells, a certain thing at you, you have to know how to give that emotion back. Just because you aren't shy in front of your family, when you get into a room that's full of lights and a panel of strangers that you've never met, I have seen it happen. You will
just freeze up.
Yeah, get a little nervous. Things happen. We could always tell when the energy changes and when people are nervous or anxious. And even some of the best get nervous. So that's not necessarily a flaw. But I will say that, don't think like, oh, yeah, like I could be an actor because I'm good looking. It takes a lot more than that.
Yeah, I think other people underestimate it a lot. They think, they have the easiest job in the world. You're right. Marika Dye says the casting couch is real. I used to cast for music videos. LOL. I'm sure there's a lot with that. LOL.
I love you. She's always with me. She's one of my girls. She definitely knows the industry. We work we work side by side together. So
awesome. Well, glad to have you. And if she wants to jump up, hey, let's go. Miss AKA lady says that's how you lose yourself, one compromise at a time. Yep. Marika added, a dude that got me on BET tried that miss. Yeah. I'm sure when it was the heyday of the music video, especially like the rap or the hip hop video, sure during the heyday, oh my goodness, I could imagine all of the quid pro quo going on.
I definitely had to check a casting director or two. So
a good way to circumvent. I'm sorry, DL. Go ahead, DL.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say the thing is like Suzette, you're saying heyday. I'm saying right now, and I was gonna bring that up. I was gonna ask. Video set versus a movie slant sitcom set, right? Could you explain the difference to folks who might be curious out there? Because you go to a video set and you're thinking, oh, this is whatever you think it is, and then you go to a movie set or a major sitcom set and you're like, oh, you see the difference immediately. Yeah. So
is there? Tell us about it. You're informing me.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a difference, but that goes kind of across the board. Like if there's a lower production, a lower budget production rather, like you're going to see and feel that, right? Like even where they hold talent is going to look different versus a major, backed or budgeted production. So, again, that's where just like you need to know what you're getting yourself into. Is the company or the person that found you, like, are they reputable? Can you find anything of them online? Now that we have the internet, it's so easy for people to post ads or to slide in DMs of like good looking girls and promise them, oh yeah, I'm working with such and such and we need a girl and we'll pay you X amount of dollars. And it's like, if you don't have someone that like, is it legitimate or not, right? All of us that work in this industry, you can look us up in some kind of capacity, whether it's IMDb, websites, I have credits from like major shows. I always post my credits for like people to know and see that like I'm out here working.
You're legit. Okay.
Because it's very easy. And it's not just the men. Like some of these women, get in these cahoots with these companies and it's like they get paid per person they bring in. And, it gets real sticky. So you really do have to pay attention. So yeah, there's definitely a difference of like, if it's a small budgeted music video, a local rapper that's looking for like, some girls to, I don't know, twerk or something versus like a major.
We have a lot of that in Miami, I'm sure.
Yeah, but like even that.
Oh my gosh. Those pull up downtown and just start taping a music video.
Listen, it's like if you're down to have fun, but be aware. Be aware of what you're getting yourself into. Be aware of if this is legitimate, be aware because it's just so scary nowadays. Like you just have to be aware of your surroundings and who you're dealing with, especially in that industry, in this industry.
Absolutely. I want to address this. Mystic Millionaire Mommy, well, go on, says, enough of the chisme. How do we land these reality roles? Okay, so we'll just jump right in there. I'm going to drop the gentleman down just momentarily. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll bring you back up shortly. You can sit and listen, and I want her to get into it. Now, you are working primarily on casting for reality TV. So no wonder you come to Miami. So a little bit more about that move. You just decided that it would be an easier place to start your own agency, or please tell us why.
No, again, being an LA native, I think, when COVID hit, the air just kind of changed there. And I was looking for something different, like just a different energy. And I actually spent a year in Dallas. And I was considering buying a piece of property in Dallas. And then something was like, what about Miami? I've come here many times throughout the years. I've casted a lot of shows here. I did Housewives of Miami, Master of the Mix, the DJ competition show. We were here. And just like other development projects from here and then also Orlando. So I'm very familiar. I would come here for months at a time. Right. So it always felt like a second home anyways.
Awesome.
And what I thought was going to be me just buying like a vacation piece of property turned into me like falling in love and being like, yeah, I don't think I'm going back.
Okay. So the pandemic had a lot of people contemplating life. So you're looking around, you're like, I need to change. Something around here is different. I need to go someplace where I can plant some roots, figure out what my next step is, start my own agency. Okay. What about Miami? So I'm here. So you were casting. Go ahead.
I've always kind of worked remotely, like even before the pandemic really hit, like that's just a part of what we do anyway. So it wasn't like that had to happen for me to move my job. I was already working from wherever I wanted.
You could do it anywhere. You didn't have to be here. Okay, understood.
So I have Kelley Casting Incorporated. I've had that since 2013. And Girl Gang Casting Collective is a like a layer of that company that I'm branching out to expand the workflow, expand the opportunities for the girls that I work with, and just expand like the mentoring of helping them like get proper negotiations for these projects, learning the tools to move up in the industry, being like starting off as an assistant or a recruiter, hopefully getting to a casting director title, and just giving them the tools that they need if they want to make that jump. So that was the reason behind starting Girl Gang. And I love my boys, don't get me wrong. Like I work with boys and men all the time. But I just really wanted something to focus on my girls,
Awesome. So on to how to get hired. Yes. So we also left off the leading role stuff. You sound like you need representation, guys, and you need to know what you're doing if you're really considering scripted leading roles. But to get on a reality show, like I've seen a couple of my friends end up on Love and Hip Hop. Shout out to like Ace Hood and Sheila Marie and a couple people. I mean, I don't know them, but we're good enough friends. They're friends of my cousin. So what is that like? How does a regular person, go about trying to get hired on a reality TV show?
Well, you can start by following Girl Gang Casting on Instagram.
There you go. Yeah, I'll hit it. It's in the description.
I post a bunch of flyers like between me and my colleagues of, different opportunities. But ultimately, it's kind of crazy. Like, it really depends on what we're working on at the time. Like, we will find you. Like, if we're looking for cheerleaders in Dallas, we're going to find you, right? Like, we will find you, slide in your DMs or find whatever we need. I always tell people, like, hashtag your photos. Always put your city. If you're single, right? Because dating shows is a big one. It's an easier one for people to like make their entrance.
Yes.
And that's the way we can find you. Don't have a private page where like we can't even like get to you. Like, if you want to be found and be seen, have your page public so that we can do that. If you want to have a separate private page, you can. But essentially, we find you. I shout out to my team. We just, our dating show, or couple show rather, is #1 on Netflix right now, called The Ultimatum. And I worked with Kinetic Casting for that one, or Kinetic Production Company. And that was a doozy, right? But all of those couples, we had a team that was specifically looking for couples that was in a particular wanting to make an ultimatum. And then,
wow, so you casted for The Ultimatum?
Yes, I was
going to bring that up. I
Yeah.
was like, oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, that's
so this is randomly looking at people online as far as like their Instagram and their Facebook?
Pretty much. I mean, you can do things like, if you're in LA or, again, remote is so big right now. So like LA Casting will sometimes go on there and post things and you can easily apply. But for the most part, like, we kind of come to find you. I wish there was a better platform. I've actually talked to some of my casting colleagues about like creating something because there should be like a database, or like if we need, a carpenter in South Dakota, and like we can do a search on this database. And if you're there, we can easily like get to you. But as of right now, there really isn't one. Okay. So we just manually will start Googling businesses or Googling whatever we need in that area. When we do like the fun series, like the Housewives and Married to Medicines and things like that, like honestly, we go to plastic surgeons. We're like, hey, who's your clients? Who should we be?
This is how y'all finding people. Wow. Yeah.
We I always tell my team, like, put your mind in the place of what you're looking for. You know what I mean? Like, if you're looking for, a cute single girl in North Carolina, where would she be? Where would she go? Where would she work? Does she do bottle service? Does she, so like start to like resource, like pretend like you are that talent and like go where you think they would be. And then we also look for referrals. So like, like hairstylists are great because everybody stylists know all their business. So if we're going to your city, we might find some hairstylists. Hey, do you have clients? Right. And they love making that plug, saying like, oh my God, I have this girl. Or like publicist is another great one. If someone is at that caliber where they're paying somebody. So there's just all different kinds of ways that we do find reality talent. But for the most part, find the different pages on Instagram or on Facebook that post the casting calls and just submit yourself, submit some cute photos. If it seems like it's fitting, whatever they're looking for, game show, cooking show, dating show, etc. Submit yourself and just see what happens.
Wow. So with that process, should you already have representation? Like, should you already have an agent?
No, for reality, honestly, it's better that you don't, because there's multiple reasons. A, we hate dealing with agents because they're a pain in our butts, right? All they want to know how much, and it's like, oh, no yet.
Yeah.
We have to see how good your talent is. Versus scripted, there's already a budget in place. They kind of have an idea, right? They can make an offer, etc. So for reality, no, you should just be a regular person doing your thing, working at the bank, mom, real estate agent, whatever. Just be doing your thing. And like, if you have that little itch, like I said, just look for the different pages or the outlets where they post the casting calls. And if something sparks your attention or feels like a good fit, submit yourself. And we remember people. Like if you submit and we're like, oh, it's not really good for this one, something else comes up, we're like, oh, that girl. And like we'll go digging through the email, or if we have a Google Doc with like a lot of our people that submit, where we can easily find their contact information, like we'll hit you up and say like, hey, had another opportunity, like think you might be good for this one, you know? So it's kind of a thing, you know, like
so just make yourself available, have an open profile, use hashtags. Give me an idea of some of the hashtags you look up, or just bartender, girls gone wild. Sorry,
girls on, because for dating shows it's so fun. Like I tell them, get on Tinder, get on Bumble, they're on there telling guys, oh, you look so cute. And then as soon as the guy like matches, they're like, what's your Instagram? And then as soon as they get the Instagram, they're off of Tinder. They're like, hey, I just thought you'd be perfect for this dating show, you know? So, you know, all different kinds of ways. Some of the hashtags, just again, depending on what we're looking for.
Okay.
So we're looking for realtors in Atlanta, right? When you post your stuff or open houses or just yourself, ATL realtor, real estate ATL, like all the different things that would make sense, right?
Yeah.
If we're looking for daters, things like single, willing to mingle, you know, I don't know.
No, we get the drift. We get the drift. So try to tag yourself.
Yes.
Well, I'm doing the wrong tags on y'all. You know, you're talking about women supporting women, women's empowering women. I should be single, ready to mingle. The chat is responding. They say the tea is hot. I'm going to invite the gentleman back up momentarily because we want to go a little bit deeper. And I'm going to give you guys a chance to kind of come back and talk about the weirdness, because I think understanding the industry is great, but I think acknowledging that there is a little bit of weirdness going on, that is important too, because we are, as a public anyway, as someone who has never worked in Hollywood, so to speak, I am really curious about some of the patterns and practice that are either allowing people of color through the door, or maybe not so much, or women of color, or not so much. Why are we greenlighting certain projects and others? Next week, I'm going to have Kirk Anderson on, and he and I are going to talk about Lizzo's new show. He's a fitness expert, and I was nervous about getting him on to talk about, you know, Lizzo has I think it's called Big Girls with like 10 R's and it's, you know, showcasing plus size big beautiful women who are, you know, trying out, I think, as her backup dancers. And but what is the messaging and why he wants to challenge it, I think will be his position. I don't want to put words in your mouth, Mr. Kirk Anderson, but he was like, no, it's sending out the wrong message for young Black women. So we're curious to see why certain things are green lighted. This is where I don't know if she can illumine us on that. But casting director, I see you in the back, Kelley, founder of Girl Gang Collective, Casting Collective. Y'all follow her, please, on Insta, so you can start seeing if you're interested in getting into Hollywood, if you're interested in getting casted for things, especially now that she's in Miami, but projects can be anywhere. So making sure you have an open, not private, social media, make sure you're tagging it, single, ready to mingle, and other things, so that she can find you by your trade or by your, I guess, relationship status, so that they, when they're ready, can find, it sounds like for her, you know, the right fit for a reality show series. So again, we're here discussing Hollywood secrets. Casting director Kelley Allen is here. Hit the like button, y'all. I'm going to invite the gentleman to join us now, because I want to kind of pivot now that we have a good understanding of what we need to do to kind of get in the reality show game. And I want to know if there are any kind of like secrets to it in terms of who gets green lighted, why they get green lighted, what shows, like Lizzo has a show. First of all, I thought this was a spoof. I saw it on Instagram the other day. Takara, I don't know if you guys remember Tyra Banks's modeling show, America's Next Top Model. She had several cycles back. Like this is when I was in college. Takara had a show now, a reality show called Thick House. Thick House. I'm like, who green? Is this a real? I thought it was a spoof. Talk about Welcome to Thick House. I didn't know what that was. So we're going to ask some questions about the shows themselves. And DL, I'm bringing you up now. So now to the secrets that are the little known facts about why certain shows make it, certain shows get cast or get green lighted. You've worked with Netflix, right, Miss Allen?
Yes.
So tell me about so do people come to you and say, hey, we have I don't know. Tell me how it works from the show perspective. Does the show get approval first from the streaming, say Disney Plus, Netflix, whoever, and then they hire your company, and your company therefore starts to quickly look and has to feel like, give me the process, if you will.
Sure. It actually can go more than one way. So it could be a situation like you just said where they already have green lit the idea, and it might be for sizzle, right? So like a production company has an idea, they submit it to Netflix, HBO, whomever, they bid on it, somebody says, I want that, and now we're going to give you X amount of dollars to give us a sizzle, or we're going to go straight to series, and we're going to hire you to book, to find talent for for an entire season, 10 episodes. So it can happen that way, where it's kind of like sold kind of behind the scenes, or it can go sort of the long way where the networks will send out a mandate, right, to certain companies. And the mandate will say, we really want, wedding shows. And the production companies are like, okay, let me put something together. And then like they'll kind of sit and put their heads together and come up with an idea that they think is cool, submit it. It's one of those mandates, and say, what about this, right? Like, would this be good if we did one on like brides in Alabama that not only got wedding dresses, but then had a bridal shoot with alligators? I don't know. And the network was like, yes, we like that one. We're going to give you some budget here. Go hire your team. So typically the production company will hire me. Sometimes it's directly through the network if they have like a development idea and they're like, hey, we just want a little bit of like, we want to see if this exists, if we can find this, if this has a world, here's X amount of dollars, how many weeks do you need, etc. So there's multiple ways, but like mostly, the networks send out these mandates with like what they're kind of missing, right? Like what on their programming they feel like they need more of, whether it's a relationship show, a renovation show, a cooking show, etc. And then the production companies will kind of scramble to like fulfill this order. Like, does this work? Does this work? What about this? And then finally, like, yeah, that might be good. And then we kind of get to work. Or like I said, there's kind of the other way where the companies will have an idea that they feel proud about. They'll have a deck or a sizzle already done. Send that for consideration. And then if the network is interested, we book a meeting. And chat about the project, kind of walk them through, bring it to life, and then get them excited and interested, and then talk about that money, honey.
Exactly. Now, are you okay? The other way, go ahead, because I was going to ask, do you work with productions that are only or mostly focused on people of color, or no? It doesn't matter. You just cast for everybody.
Oh no, I'm all over the place, and I actually prefer it that way. I've specifically not fallen into like a niche. Like I'm not the game show chick or the game show chick. Like I have literally casted adult babies. Like I don't know who else can say that other than my casting wife who did it with me. So from that to like the Rich Housewives to, I've interviewed people that like come from oil, like money, like old Texan, like the oil family, like the real dynasty, right?
Yeah.
So I have done so much just across the board that I never wanted to be like just stuck in one thing. And that comes with also, projects of color, because once, the BLM movement really started, there was definitely an increase, which I'm not mad about, right? Bring on
projects and
not just for us behind the scenes, but for the people in front of the camera, right? Like more opportunity for Black business owners to be highlighted, and not just businesses of other races. So it really did open a door, but for us as well behind the scenes, we became more high in demand. And because there's not a lot of us.
Right. You got the money, you got them contracts. Hey.
We're really kind of like, and we it was like, you know, it was like we were arm in arm together. Like, we're in this, like, I got you guys' back. And, you know, we'd have calls about projects and things and making sure that everyone was taken care of. And, you know, I definitely have had to, you know,
staff up. It sounds like, yeah, get help.
I've also had to speak up in certain instances where, you know, an executive might make a comment about a certain talent because, oh, they sound to this or to that. And I'm like, you can't say that.
Hey, Black China's suing the Kardashians right now for all these alleged, she's ghetto, she's this, she's that. Yeah. So a lot of problematic, I'm sure, conversations might have been had. And maybe thanks to some of that, you know, Me Too and BLM, it has kind of quelled it, but I'm sure it still happens. So the gentlemen are probably going to ask you questions that I probably don't feel comfortable asking. So I'm going to hand it over in just a second. Let me get some more of the chat. Yes, Sarah Harrison says, Sister Heidi Bisha, I'm so proud of you, Michaelita, mainly because I know how hard and committed she is to your her work. Thank you. Miss Creative says, now, Suzette, I don't want to see you on any Love and Hip Hop doing no fight. I remember RM says, Patty Stanger, the Millionaire Matchmaker. I remember that show. You're not right for the mixer, but you have something coming up better suited. Yeah, I remember her saying that. I wasn't even like offended for some of these women because they know this type of dude, this one ain't for you. I guess that's the same thing with Hollywood. Yes. DL says the Hollywood game means long hours. I was shocked about how long and how hard they work. So there is some deception. I'm not sure if that's what she said, but so there's some deception involved in recruiting talent. Well, if you got to go on Tinder and swipe a couple times and then go to Instagram, I don't know. It's phishing. Yeah. It's phishing in a different way.
And just so that it's not like perceived that way, it's not so much deception. It's like, if you go to the store, right, and you're looking for almond milk, you go right to the refrigerator section to get the almond milk. You're not going to cruise down all the aisles, right?
Yes, it's just easier.
We have to go straight to the source. If we're casting for a major dating show, right? Are You the One, Temptation Island, Bachelor, Bachelorette, where are these people? They are single. They are on dating apps. Right. So we're giving you the opportunity. Now, if you want to take it or not, it's totally up to you. But going straight to the source cuts out all the drama.
Yeah, trying to find
sliding DMs, knowing damn well you got 3 baby mamas that single, which happens on Tinder too. I'm not saying it doesn't.
Yes.
But I don't want it to feel like we're being deceptive. It's more about we're going straight to the source. And if you have the opportunity, it's there for you. If you don't, keep on.
I understand. Some things you got to just kind of like, especially when time is of the essence. Miss AKA Lady asks, growing up, blonde hair. I just watched the Abercrombie and Fitch Netflix. Oh man, took me back in the day. I never got them. But anyway, your question has me thinking about them. Growing up, blonde hair, blue eyes was the main aesthetic. Does that look hurt or help actors nowadays? What say you? Heard it?
It's kind of like old news. You know what I mean? Like, we as just people have just like, there's more to us now, right? Like, this isn't the goal, right? Now, like, low key, the goal, everybody wants to look like a Black girl. Yeah. Everybody's getting their lips done, their butts done. And it's like Black is so popular now that even the white girls are going to get the you know what I'm saying?
The BBLs.
Yeah, I'm like, especially here in Miami, I'm like, oh Lord, the Asians got booty. This is too
everybody, much. White girls, whoever you didn't even think had a butt now has bottom butts.
But nonetheless, it really depends on the role, right? And this even goes for reality. Like, even with being so much more open to diversity and really wanting to check all the different boxes, or as many as we can when we're casting, if the role calls for the blonde, girl next door kind of look, then that's what we're going to go looking for. And the same thing for scripted. If that's what the role calls for,
then obviously, yeah.
But do I think it's like the thing? No, I think if you look even on magazine covers nowadays, you're not really seeing that much. It's not
the skinny Abercrombie and Fitch back in the day look is not in. 2 quick questions, and I'm turning it over to the guys. Miss AKA Lady asks, this is a fun question. Do you encounter a lot of people that want to be around you, or I would say, or be your friend because you're a casting director? And Ace Butterfly, welcome, has a great question. Does the guest know anything about the Monique and the Lee Daniels? Let's get to the tea. Reconciling. All right. So first, are people trying to be buddy with you just so they can get roles?
Yes. And they're all in my messages on Facebook and LinkedIn.
No.
I'm like, if one more person sends me their reel or their voiceover tape, like that isn't how I work. If I need you, I will find you. Oftentimes, when I go out and just like meet people like at a lounge or whatever, I lie. I say like I'm a flight attendant or something. Like I don't even want to deal with it. Like, because somebody knows somebody. If they don't want to be their nephew, their cousin, somebody want to be on TV and they're ready to send me headshots and shit. And I'm just like,
I'm just out here chilling. Y'all leave me alone. Interesting. So tell us about, now let's get into some secrets. DL, you ready? I want some good questions, but do you know anything about the Monique and Lee Daniels reconciliation?
I don't.
No, Kelley, you, darling.
So all I really know is I saw the video like everyone else.
Okay.
We heard the stories from Monique over the years, like she had been blackballed, and it's like we never really saw her anymore. And that was kind of question mark, like,
yes,
because she was
for
like
a very long time,
like doing her thing. And then like that whole, was it Netflix, that special thing happened, and like there was just a bunch of like kind of mess going on. So I wasn't aware so much that her and Lee had like a dispute back then, and then maybe he's the one that kind of cut these ties. But I was happy, just like I hope everyone else was, to see that, even if something did happen a long time ago or even a week ago, like the fact that you can come together and say, you know what, let's get over this. I love you. And whatever that was is no longer. Let's move on. Let's work. Let's do this. Like, I thought that was great of both of them.
Absolutely.
Her to be like, oh, I'm still mad at you. Like, your apology wasn't good enough. Like, she embraced it. And I thought that was beautiful. Like, it's showed maturity. Like, let's just grow up and move on.
Awesome. Well, like I said, this is a hot topic show. This is now the hot topic segment. And DL, do you have any questions about Hollywood industry secrets for our guest, Miss Kelley Allen?
Yeah, I'll throw something out there. But before I do, someone was talking about like the black people basically in the business, and the thing is this: Kelley will hopefully become a gatekeeper soon. You know what I mean? She's well on her way to being a gatekeeper, and that's a great thing because she's at the table. So for those people who are like, oh man, there's not enough representation. Well, we got Kelley and we got other people like Kelley. And that is an amazing thing. So you keep doing it, sister. Anything, and if there's any way I can help, I will absolutely help, because that's what we need. We need people who are, like she said, if I need you, I'll come find you. She's making the choices and she's putting those people out there, and people don't realize how important that is, especially in Hollywood. So I just wanted to give you your flowers there, love. Keep doing what you're doing. But the thing I wanted to bring up, so here's my question to you. If you could be one or two things, you could be either the most talented producer, actor, director, writer, whatever, the most talented one in Hollywood. You can be that, or B, you could be tied in, connected, all the way clicked up with the cool kids. Which one would you could choose? You can only choose one or the other.
I'm going with the talent because I am one of the cool kids.
There it is. But I just wanted, like, so people to understand that in Hollywood, and you can back me up on this, or you can push back on this, but it doesn't, like, talent takes a back seat to your network.
Well, hold on now, because I feel like all of us who are not in this industry, we're like the cool kids. Define that.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to define it? Oh, the cool kids are those. Okay, so when you're moving around in Hollywood, right? Let's say you're like in Studio City, you're on Hollywood Boulevard, you're in all the parties in the hills, you're in Malibu, right? You're at all of the elite places where average folks can't get in. Like, when think about Hollywood is this. It's not that, I got enough money to take everybody on this panel to my favorite restaurant in Hollywood. It don't matter about your money. If you're not a cool kid, you can't get a table at fill in the blank to the restaurant if it's an industry joint. If you're not a cool kid, you can't get in to those in those engagements where they kick it. So the cool kids are the people who are just people you don't know, people you don't recognize, but everyone in Hollywood knows them. All the A-listers know them. All the casting directors know them. All of the producers and directors, all of the big wigs, they know them. And if you walk in there, they're like, "Oh, DL Saint's here." Everybody around is like, "Oh, they know who DL Saint is? Yes, come on over here, Mr. Saint. Here's your table."
Yeah,
that's Hollywood.
It's those movers and shakers, right? It's the people that can go through their Rolodex, and it's like they know Tom Cruise, they know everybody, but we don't really know what they do, right? It's like, are you the guy that sells Coke? Like, who are you? Like, why are you so damn connected? And
exactly, you know everybody
in front of anything. So, and I grew up in that industry. I grew up going to the clubs, and you got to know this person to get in and go up to the front and not have to wait in line and pay, right? Like, I get that. But to me, it's like, but who are you? Are you some celebrity's kid that couldn't really find their way? And so now you opened up a nightclub and you have a little bit of power at the door? Are you someone that grew up in a rich, area, and you went to school in Beverly Hills and you have all the connects because you grew up with all of these people, and now that you guys are, functioning and adults, you can call on each other, hey, hook me up here, get me into a reservation on such and such. So I mean, it's cool. Like, those people are cool when you need them. But I feel like for me to be like talented and motivated and know that you had to crawl before you walked and you did your thing to get in that door, I have more respect for that person, just to be honest. And then I feel like you're going to meet those movers and shakers no matter what.
Right.
So I think like there's more character behind having the talent, working hard, busting through the door on your own, not because of who you know, but like because you did it, not because, oh, your dad is such and such. So
you went to school with, you were best friends with,
you get a default audition because, oh, my uncle is Tyler Perry, but you can't even look into the camera.
Interesting.
They're both right.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Because it's a combination. The talent gives you the longevity because you got people like Morgan Freeman, but the network does sort of give you that entry, being at the right place at the right time. You think of a person like Barkhad Abdi, who was the supporting actor in Captain Phillips back in 2013. This guy was driving limos before he got that role. Next thing you know, he's at the Oscars, nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and he had never done acting before.
Wow.
Another story like that, Yalitza Aparicio. She was nominated for Best Actress at the Oscars, I want to say about 3-4 years ago. No acting experience at all. I forget the name of the film that she was in. And again, another one, Bria Vanathi. There are those situations where it happens. Yeah.
Like you have those stories like, oh, I was a waitress and they found me. You know what I mean? Like, it really is kind of like a very 1 in a million kind of an opportunity. But there's definitely like, it's hard. I go more along with the talent side because this is the side that I'm on, and I want to see you grind and learn and achieve. But yeah, those movers and shakers are very much so important. But like I said, I think you're gonna cross paths with them no matter what. Like, whether you become friends, whether you did this independent project and they saw you and now you're buddies, or whatever that
you're going to get clicked up just by doing the work and being around the people. You're going to meet them, but the talent is something that you cannot buy, and you're going to have a lot of to stay in the game. It sounds like. Shout out to Maggie, the substitute teacher, on the super chat, stopping by to support Suzette and Natural Beauty. You're so sweet. She will be a guest next week on my channel, cooking. You guys got to watch her. She has such an inspirational story, but she'll be cooking with Maggie. She's substituting what's terrible for what's good, and she's lost so much weight. You're such an inspiration, doll. Thank you for coming through and supporting tonight. Appreciate you. So we're talking Hollywood secrets. I want to talk about the Oscars, but I want to see what the gentlemen have on their heart. Kenardak, do you want to ask another question?
Yeah, in terms of, thank you, Suzette, once again for having this. the casting process, because I've only dibbled and dabbled in it. You know, I'm mainly on the talent side of things, but I find that the virtual audition is less desirable than in person. I don't know what you think, because, for example, for self-tape submissions, you'll put out a request for self-tapes and you'll get maybe 500 submissions or even less than that. And or let's say you're on LA Casting and you're looking through 500 people who submitted, but then you only get like 100 people who submit the self-tape once you contact them. And then out of those 100, 5 of them have a really good self-tape. So you really don't have much to work with. There seems to be sort of this, I don't know. What do you like? Do you prefer in-person auditions or the self-tape submission?
Well, I'm an energy person. So like in person is always going to be better, right? Because sometimes, you know, a person just has like this energy about them. They can walk into the room and you're like, oh, damn, what she got going on, right? Like the way she walks or the way he, you know, sits or holds himself. Like there's a thing that for us in reality that goes beyond, you know, can you remember your lines and dive into a character, because we are looking for real people. Interviewing them on virtually, like it works and it's what we do and we know how to make it work. I know how to pull the best out of somebody, and if I feel like they're nervous, I know how to kind of coach them into feeling better. I know how to start an interview a certain way if you're feeling a little uncomfortable and ease into the heavier questions. If I need tears, I kind of wait for that. So there's a method behind the madness of the way we cast, or at least the way I interview. So I am getting the best out of that person. So I'm letting that personality shine. But, you know, for scripted especially, yeah, in person is just like, you're going to see everything. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel if this person is embodying this character. And I think for, you know, a casting director or an executive producer who might be, you know, standing by, sometimes it's not so much that like you nailed the audition, that like you remembered every single line, but it's like there's something about him. He reminds me of what I imagine this character to be. Yeah. Something about his swag, the way he walked in the door, or you know what I'm saying? And like you can't duplicate that on a tape.
Right.
True. Right. So the in-person sound like it's best. This is what I want to ask, and thank you for answering that and asking that. Those people are weird and strange. No shade, just true. Now, I'm thinking that a lot of the folks get a bad rap because, you know, we're hearing stories now. Again, people used to take advantage and exploit and abuse and all kinds of stuff. Actors that we've loved, people that we've admired, people that we thought we knew, but only knew on screen. So as far as, I guess, temperament, as far as morals, as far as what people would, I guess, normal is relative, call normal. Is that what you come across when you're working with talent, especially from out in LA? Or are you coming across people who are maybe a little bit more on the fringes outside of, I guess, what the American, dare I say, mainstream culture would be like? Or are people like out there and everybody's like, you know, I don't know, praying at I don't know, full moons and things like this? Like, is that more like people who are into energy and things like that, as far as not being in traditional belief systems or whatever? What I'm trying to characterize people who are like more on the edges. What do you usually see?
I cast worldwide. Like I have interviewed people in Nigeria, right? Okay. And like Ireland and Italy. And so it's everything. I have interviewed a vampire that lives in Brooklyn and drinks blood, but he was actually a good guy. I have interviewed, you know, I mean, people from all walks of life. I interviewed a woman and her 2 children that lost their dad and husband to COVID. And I mean, you name it, I've interviewed it. So it's hard to say, like, it isn't like there's just one type.
So when you say you interviewed a vampire, then there's weird people.
But see, that to him, he's perfectly fine and normal.
Yes.
Now to someone else is like, that's not the norm for them, right? So it's all perspective. And, you know, I actually wrote a book and I'm working currently with my publicist at, you know, getting it edited and printed and all that good stuff. But because of these interviews and the the thing that I want to get across with that is that you cannot and should not judge a book by its cover.
Gotcha.
Just because it's odd to you, nobody told you to go and be a vampire. You know what I'm saying? Like, let Chris do his thing. That's what makes him happy. He sleeps in a coffin. My claustrophobic self ain't sleeping in no coffin.
Right. But to each his own. I guess you must have that attitude as a casting director, because depending on what the role requires, you are digging up all kinds of folks from all kinds of walks of life.
I have interviewed some pastors that are a little questionable. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, pick your poison.
Across the board. You know, there's a little bit of something for everyone. And I think that's why TV is what it is. And it's continuously growing with all of the streaming services and networks, etc. So there's content for everyone, whether it's scripted or reality. So just pick and choose what feeds you, right? But yeah, are there some people that are quote unquote strange or different?
Different?
Now we do for most anyone that's gonna actually you see on television, there's typically a background check in place.
Okay.
And also, you know, with the background it comes like a psychological, etc. Because we also don't want anyone to get in a position where they're vulnerable to
and be exploited. And
then that be detrimental for their health, right? So that they want to hurt themselves or someone else. So we also are very considerate of that, you know, for the person and for anyone that they might come in, you know, contact with. So there is a process. We don't just pluck people and throw them on TV.
Thank goodness. I'm happy to hear that, because sometimes I wonder, because I'll be like, who are they? Because you like, even there was a guy on like a cheer reality show that was like a serial, we can't say the R word, but sexual assaulter. Like, he was the cutest little cheerleader on that.
Jerry, his name was Jerry.
Yeah, allegedly. I think he might have been convicted already, but allegedly, I was reading that. I'm like, this kid is like cheer captain galore, and this man has an issue with sexual assault. It's like, I'm glad to hear they do some backgrounds, but you still don't even catch everybody. Well, unfortunately.
And in situations like that, you don't know what the power and fame is going to do to
the people. Now
all of a sudden, you know, you're getting this attention, and you know you're flexing a little bit, and you used it in the wrong way.
Wrong way, yeah. It hurt me when I read that story. I was like, this is so sick. I can't read it. Miss Globe Girl has a question. Was Andy Warhol considered? I'm going to go to you next, DL. Was Andy Warhol considered a connector or a talent? I didn't watch the Netflix yet, so I'd love for you to answer that.
I think he's kind of like what we were saying, like almost one of those crossover ones, right? Where like he definitely had a talent, and you know what I mean? Like there's work that we're like, oh, he did that. But I think he was so much of a mover and shaker and knew kind of everybody, and they probably had those parties, right? Those exclusive mansion parties and whatnot. So I think he was probably a little bit of both, that happens when they get to a certain point, right?
Yeah. Very good question here. Thanks for the super chat, Doug. Why? This is a big point of contention among, you know, Samuel L. Jackson has commented on this, and that there are a lot of I call them our cousins, so our British brothers and sisters of African descent, African diaspora, who are getting roles here in the United States to play. I'm talking about iconic African-American figures. And, you know, Samuel L. Jackson and others have commented on, you know, are they cheaper, if you will? Some have said, you know, I don't want to even call no names because I like a lot of them. Shout out to Daniel Kaluuya and all these guys. I love them. And that, you know, they're classically trained. Them boys are Shakespearean actors. They're not, oh, I like to, you know, like you were saying, sing and dance, and I'm charismatic and outgoing, and I'm an extrovert, so I think I should be on TV. No, these people train from like their Broadway stages to like movies. They handle characters from a deep level. So yeah, this is a point of contention among the diaspora. So why is this that many Black Britons are getting more roles, or some, I wouldn't say more, but comparatively a lot of roles compared to their African-American counterparts when it comes to American film and movies, particularly about Martin Luther King, about, you know, Judas and the Messiah, the Black Panthers, about all these iconic African-American figures. Why is this happening? Why is this a trend, do you think?
You answered your own question.
I think for me personally, it really comes down to the talent. And while there is, I'm sure, right, like great African American talent, but when that talent walks through the door, right, and the director, the executive producer, the casting director, if Idris walks through that door and nails that role better than Samuel, and listen, Samuel was brilliant, right? But if that role really was embodied by, if he came in and just like kicked it through the door, you have to go with that. At that point, it doesn't matter where in the world he's from, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the talent that he has. I mean, me personally, as a girl, I'm like, it's sexier. I mean,
don't go there now. Hold on now.
Like, but when
we mentioned Daniel Kaluuya,
when we hear the accent, it's sexier. But
they be doing it though. They be doing it.
But I think the real, the first part of the answer is, no jokes. It's like really, it just comes down to the talent, and it doesn't matter if you, were born and raised somewhere and maybe have an accent, but like if you are a trained professional and you walk through that door and you did a better job, you get the part.
Yeah, a lot of people are stuck on this, and again, I know there's a lot of feelings about Black nationalism when it comes to the African American experience, and how we've been robbed of so much that it also feels like, are we somehow being slighted? But I think what you're saying is some people are not considering that just the talent pool is no joke, and they take their craft seriously. Not that all African Americans don't, but the British folks that are coming through the door now are well trained and have been doing it for such a long time. I appreciate y'all. Hit the like button. DL, what's your question? Such a great panel, says Quavandra. Perry, nice to meet you. Good to see you. Yes, Miss AKA Lady says, Oprah said, power and money makes you more of who you already are. Help us, God. Yes, Chris Loco says, hey, Auntie, it's Chris and Cynthia. We miss you.
I told you, my squad is deep.
Yeah, your squad is very deep. Shout out to all of Kelly's squad watching from, I guess, Miami, LA. Yes, just saying, RM says Lawrence Fishburne killed Othello. See? Just saying. And even Denzel's what did he do? King Lear? Was it King Lear? Oh my God, I'm saying the wrong character.
I should be ashamed of myself.
No, I said the wrong character. Oh my gosh, I know Shakespeare.
Not King David. No, not Hamlet. No.
The chat will look it up.
King Richard.
No, I don't want to say the wrong one, but somebody in the chat will know.
Yeah, it'll be RM. She'll have it up in a second.
Yeah, she'll know. RM, my moderator's the best. She'll know. Miss Gold Girl adds, Black Americans just need to do better and stop whining. Her opinion. Just saying, please don't come for me.
I agree.
Girl, you know it. Miss AKA Lady says, so British actors have outworked their American counterparts? ? Okay.
Yes.
Just putting it out there.
Yes.
And then I tell you, I haven't met Idris Elba personally yet, but my cousin has. She was at the some award ceremony in London. And there's something about that brother's swag, because every time she tells the story, she smiles. Yeah. It's one of the slyest smiles I've ever. Every time she tells the story,
I can imagine.
It's that walk through the door. Like, let's bring in. Oh, who's next? Oh, Idris. Okay. And
it's like, whole different attitude.
You're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, but
it's a competition. Mm-hmm.
It's stiff at that level, but I do have a question for Kelley. I'm just curious, how often are you blamed for a project failing versus praise for a project succeeding based on casting?
Never, boo. I mean, because look, I have a certain standard, right?
For you.
I just kind of get it. Like, I'm very, open with my communication style. So if I'm working with even if I'm just working side by side with like an executive producer and it's like, hey, I got this money, I have this idea, help me out. I'm talking to you and telling you like, that ain't gonna happen. That's not realistic. Let's rethink this, right? Or if I'm dealing with a production company and they're sending us off on like a wild goose hunt, like I'm gonna let you know that let's rephrase this. I can promise you this instead. Or if, oh my God, we couldn't find anyone to do this, can you help us? So I just feel like I'm very upfront and
sorry.
but I'm very positive about what I do in a way that I'm not going to just, if the project is 8 weeks long and we haven't gotten what we needed, which has never happened, I'm not going to just pull the plug on the project. Like, I'm going to make sure that we get what we need so that it is successful, right? So there has been a lot of development projects that have got greenlit because of my casting team. And I mean, there has been times, shout out to my casting wife. I don't think she's watching, but I have a casting partner. We don't get to work together so much because we have our own entities at this point, because we're quite expensive, I like to say. But her name is Susie, and we kind of started off in the trenches together and grew together. And we did a lot of those really kind of hard shows together. And there was a project this particular production company had tried. I want to say we were the third group that they brought on, casting duo. They had already tried 2 other casting companies prior to hiring me and my casting wife. And they're like, we don't know what to do. No one could cast this. We're looking for cousins that are in relationships, like real cousins that are really in relationships. And me and Susie, all bright-eyed, we're like, we'll do it. We can find it. And we did. And we found a whole bunch of them. And
that's what we talking about with the Hollywood weirdness.
And they were like, how did you guys do this? And so there's an art of how to communicate and deal with people. You can't deal with everybody the same way like you're a robot. You know what I'm saying? There's an art to just the communication. So I think that, again, I will pat myself on the back for that. I have never been a part of something that wasn't
a challenge you couldn't meet. That's wonderful. I'm wondering where y'all found the cousins that's doing all this kind of craziness, if I may say so.
Listen, like I said, my biggest thing is to not judge a book by its cover. Will I do that? No, I got a lot of cousins. I love y'all, but we're not going there. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't raised like that, but
yes.
They're amazing people. I'm still friends with some of them on Facebook, and
interesting.
Post their little updates, and I'll love it or like it.
Yes, please share the video, y'all. Hit the like button. I'm enjoying the conversation. Yes, we're talking Hollywood secrets with casting director Kelley Allen. She's giving up all the tea. Apparently, there's all kind of projects. She said she never met a project that she could not rise to the occasion for. And I'm glad to hear it, because there are so many people, again, who don't try to, go the long route, put in the work, learn that craft. And it sounds like you've done that. You've seen it kind of from the floor up over this last several years. And now that you're getting the big projects, you're ready for it. I think people like to despise the process. You cannot forgo the process, y'all. It's a part of it. So if you're casting for any television show hosts, you know where to find me.
Yes,
just saying. I'm gonna throw it out there. Kenardak, I'm gonna go over to you. Yes, they're interested about the cousins. They said about what state did you find the coupled cousins? Cough, cough, Appalachian Mountains, cough, cough, West Virginia. Okay, everybody in West Virginia ain't off, but that's what many people would probably assume. I don't know if you want to answer that, but Kenardak, do you have another question?
I can't even remember specifically like one particular state. This was a while back, but it was a nationwide casting, so it wasn't just like people would assume, oh, it's some country town down in Tennessee, and it's like, no, it wasn't. It was very much so like a thriving city, like a Chicago or something.
Wow.
Over the course, I think we found 6 to 8 different couples, and they were all over the place.
These people were first cousins.
Yeah,
I know it's legal in many states. But there's reasons why it's probably not healthy. But anyway, moving on. The Hollywood industry.
Read about it in the book. When the book comes out.
Yes, there's a book coming out, y'all. You got to send me the link so I can put it in the description. Next question from the gentleman. Go ahead, Kenardak.
So I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on the future of the industry, because we see that the independent creator is on the rise. I suspect that YouTube will replace network TV in another 3 to 4 years. Studios have moved around. Hollywood is no longer the I guess the essence of LA, because you have Texas, Georgia, and all of that. So what do you see in terms of the industry overall, the future of it?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely shifting, right? Because now people can pick up their camera and dedicate that time and grow their own audience and make money and let it grow and grow and grow. I mean, I couldn't even tell you how many times I get called to do like influencer casting, right? I'm like, oh God, right?
Like a show about influencers.
Yeah, or just like they might want them to like co-host or make an appearance or whatever, but like the numbers really do speak volumes. And as much as I hate that, it really is kind of a thing. So I say that on this topic because I think that now with the different platforms that we have, you could literally be your own star. Like you don't need the old school ways and but when it comes to the scripted world, if we're basing it off of that, I think you're right. LA isn't just like about, oh my God, like it was back in like the 50s and 60s, right? And prior. Now it is kind of everywhere. Tyler Perry has his big studios out in Atlanta. So a lot of actors of color especially have flocked. It's, cheaper to live there. There's more opportunity. So you really just have to go with where you think you need to be, right? Like where New York is, I always tell people New York is more of like a fashion model / acting kind of place. If you're more of a serious actor, you might want to be in an LA or an Atlanta or even like a Texas, like right in the middle. That way you can kind of get wherever. But I think the possibilities are endless. But online and streaming and all of that, yes, very much so. But even with scripted projects as well as reality, it's like there's so much more content. There's so many more shows than back in the day where, we had a specific amount of channels, right? Mm-hmm. It's like my brain it's like I go to Netflix, I'm like, let me just turn it off because
you can't even make a decision. I'm like, how much more new stuff can you give me?
Yeah, it's like
I have to figure out what I can watch.
Do I want to be scared? What am I feeling tonight?
Yeah.
Overwhelming.
Just choose for me, Netflix.
Yeah. So on that side of it, I think for anyone that does have a passion for wanting to be, in front of the camera, it's like it's the perfect time because there's so many things, right, to potentially be a part of. But I definitely see more of the streaming stuff. It's definitely taking over, these bigger budgeted like studio films and stuff. It's like it's just so expensive when you could. That's why people thought reality wasn't going to stick around. Oh, it doesn't have substance. That isn't going to stick around. We're still sticking around because it's cheap to make.
Yeah. Doesn't take $1 billion, $500 billion. Yeah,
or A-list actor. You literally can be someone that worked the cashier at Walmart.
Tomorrow you can be
popping on, whatever. So
thinking like Honey Boo Boo. I'm thinking all these people that we know their names, Dance Mom stars who are now again Addison Rae and these people that came through some of these shows. I'm like, we know their names because of reality TV.
Even
y'all know their names, girl.
But even Nene Leakes, she came.
Yeah, Nene Leakes is her own brand now. Yes,
it's like you're really able to move and thrive if so be.
A grown woman, grown, have children, married, not like I guess second act of life, if you will, and killing the game. Like, thank goodness for these new opportunities. Chemo asks, is she a part of CSA?
Yes, I am.
Yes?
Yes.
And I did want to ask you about SAG and after. I mean, did you maintain all that on the acting side? As maybe, do you still dabble a little bit in front of the camera, or did you cut out?
After the music video shenanigans, I was like, I'm out of here, right? And I really kind of went full time behind the scenes. Now there has been opportunities that have come my way just randomly. Like I thought I was going to a focus group with my work wife for like French fries. Like, who doesn't want to go to focus group for French fries? We get there and they're letting us taste the fries and stuff. It ends up being like a secret audition for like a national Wendy's commercial, and I got booked. And I'm like,
talk about that deception.
Yeah, I'm down with it though.
That's so funny. But so did you take the job?
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, I was totally able to work it out, and that was random and awesome. But So, but no, I don't have SAG. I don't keep up. Like, I don't have representation. And like, if I did and was actively kind of dabbling on both, then I would have that stuff going. But I really have just been really, really busy with the projects. Now that things are more just like digital, I probably could jump back in a bit. You know, like, it was too hard to stop what I'm doing, stop running my team and run to an audition. Like, nobody had time for that. But
and then I had one more. I had one more for you. Kennard brought out a good point. Are you worried at all with the way things are changing that maybe casting will get pushed out because they're watching you, they're watching your podcast, they're watching your movie, just like it's a how-to. Like, well, Kelley said all I got to do is catfish on dating sites and do this, and that, so a PA can do it, and we can save all this money. Would that be a concern moving forward?
I would like to see them try. I would almost pay to see them try. Like, it is, when I tell you guys that it is an art.
Yeah.
It is stalking on the utmost level. It is private investigating, detective research. Like, when we get these projects, we become these projects. So if you think your cousin or the PA is going to be able to get in there and know what to say, know how to say it, know how to be charming and respectful of these people, especially if you're working on something that is a little more sensitive. Like, I've worked on a lot of like DNA and like adoption, like long lost family, where we reconnected family through like adoption, DNA, etc. You have to know how to talk to people. It can't be like, oh, you want to be on TV?
Yeah.
No, we are literally selling people for a living. There is nothing like, I dare you to try it. That's all I gotta say.
That's what's up, and I get it.
Job secure.
Yeah, and as a stand-up comedian, I get it. I see so many people. Look at T.I. T.I.'s running out here. I can do this. Go ahead. You know what I mean? And you sit back and watch what happens.
Exactly. That's exactly the same thing. So all of our arts, it's an art.
I find that too with TV. People see you and they think because you make it look easy and because you're so good at it, that it's something that they can just come in and step into your shoes, and they get a rude awakening when it's lights, camera, action. I agree with you on that.
Guys, I have had, some of these dating shows, right? I get these like super like cute, but like very cocky, guys with like the abs and the perfect teeth, and they're like,
the Abercrombies.
And they come in there and they are frozen. I have actually seen someone soil themselves in front of a camera because they were so nervous. So the first thing you have to do is step down, right? And like really, first of all, appreciate the craft and the art before you think you're so big and bad because you're cute. Because I have seen, like I said, the hottest dude like literally take a shit on himself.
You should offer diapers when they show up. Like, hey man, put this on, player. Trust me, cuz.
That's so gross.
It's a NASA audition. It's for NASA, boy. Put this on. Get in character.
Like, and just all kinds of different things. So no, the art behind it is yes.
So she's like, no, you couldn't do what I do. RM says, get them, girl boss. Sorhel Speaks is in the building.
I think it was Pico. I'm sorry. Someone they had asked about the CSA, and that's the Casting Society of America. Yes. So I am a part of the Casting Society of America. Typically, my name, it says Kelley Allen, CSA, but it was already so much in the title that I did for this. Okay. But yes, I am a part of the union of Casting Society. So
gotcha.
And I do, Suzette, before you close out, I do have a question that's a little bit off topic, but it's more towards my Romeo Papa side of the world that I wanted to ask Kelley when we get close to the end. So let me know.
To keep it so real. So we got about 20 minutes left. I'm going to ask a few more in the chat. Let the gentleman do some work, and then we'll head on out. I've been enjoying the conversation. I hope you have been too. So please hit the like button, y'all. Share, comment, so other people will see it in the algorithm. Ace Butterfly asks, hey, Kelley, has she heard of Kevin Samuels? Do you know who that is?
No. Should I?
Okay.
Uh-oh.
You done put him on. Ace, look what you did. You done put him on.
Who is it?
Uh-oh.
He's a YouTuber. What should I call him?
Kevin
professional
Samuels,
image consultant.
He's in his own. He's in his own lane.
It has 1 million plus subscribers.
Yeah, check him out.
We just gonna leave it there.
Got
You
a lot
might
to
have
say.
given Kevin Samuels his first break case.
Oh, wait a minute. I do know this guy's face. Somebody sent me a video of his once talking about like women or relationships. And I was like, boy, bye. Like, no.
Yeah. Okay. Well, she's heard of him. We're going to leave it there. The Godfather, as they call him, Gideon Emmanuel Moncrief asks, do you and Carlos King ever plan to work together on something? Who's Carlos King? You know who that is? Who is that, Gideon? All right, interesting. But keep the questions coming. I'll go over to you next, Kanardak. If you have a follow-up, do you have a question for her? Go ahead.
So have you heard of the diversity act that they have with the Screen Actors Guild now? I don't know if you, because I know that, I think it was 2017 where they changed some things where they have to have a certain amount of each group, whether it be Black, Asian, Latin, and all of that. And I'm curious to know your thoughts because I'm kind of split down the middle. While I understand that diversity is important, I don't want to get an opportunity just because I'm Black. Right. Going back to the whole talent idea that you mentioned.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
So definitely there was something in place. And I know that even under the CSA, like we have meetings about diversity all the time. And that goes across the board for not just color, but also gender and people with disabilities, right? That should be open to different opportunities in front of the camera. So, it's an ongoing topic. I think when you come from that era where you kind of saw the same type of leading actor or actress, and then that mold was finally broken down, and now you're seeing other people of other races, etc. Like, I root for that. I want that. But like you said, I want it to be because of your talent, not because you're ticking a box.
Right.
Also, is Hollywood really excited about that? When let's get into the Will and Jada and the Oscars and whatnot. But when they were talking about Oscars So White, the hashtag, and they started that, and it may change. Like, there's a lot more, especially in this last, leave what Will did aside, in this last Oscars, from the production team to who was nominated. It was so diverse in a way that I was like, wow. So do you think, what should I say? What do you call it? Old school Hollywood deal is happy about these changes? Or you think those gatekeepers are a little bit like, they want to keep that money. They want to keep that influence. They want to keep, the access to themselves.
What do you think?
I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm going to say it the way I feel it. I don't know the facts, right? If we put all the gatekeepers in a room, they all kind of look alike. You know what I'm saying? Or related. So I think a big part of that is that, this whole movement came in and was like, something needs to change. And they're like, do we really have to? And they're like, yes, or you're going to be sued and lose money. Okay, change it. And so now we're seeing these things put in place, which, again, I think it's great. I think it's an amazing opportunity for more people of all colors and genders and disabilities to have opportunities that maybe they wouldn't have before. There very much so was a time where, and this goes back to even when the other reason why I pulled the plug, when I was doing like music video auditions and stuff, I felt like the things that I was going out for was so typecasted. Like, just because of the way I looked, I could only play somebody's girlfriend or stripper or baby mama. Like, why? You know what I'm saying? Or, the light-skinned girl that has attitude. Like, it just seems so, like, whack, like the options. So I do appreciate that is opening up and has opened up. But I want it to be based on the talent, the skill, the person that thing that we talked about, if they walk in the room and steal the show, first, we really need an Indian girl. Do we have anybody? Do you have a cousin? Get her on the show. Like, it shouldn't just be like you're checking a box. It should be that person was best suited for that role because they embodied that role.
Okay, so speaking of roles, understood, and great points. Thank you for sharing that opinion. What do you think about Black actors playing like traditional roles that are white people in history? For example, I think, maybe not Queen, I can't think of her name, one of Henry VIII's wives. It was being played by actually a Black British woman, and of course, she is historically a white woman. What do you think about some of this crossover, cross-racial casting that has been going on? Anne Boleyn. Okay, I love Henry VIII. I love that period of time and learning about Europe and the division in the churches and all that. I love that type of history. But yeah, they casted forget this lady's name. I'm looking at her face. But she's playing Anne Boleyn, and people were up in arms when there is a traditionally even historical figure, but sometimes written in books as a white person, a la, Star Wars or something else, and then they cast a Black person to do, some maybe a different spin. What do you think about that type of casting?
I think, like, if it were me and if it was my production, I would want to stick to the history. Like, nothing irritates me more than when, like, Elizabeth Taylor played Cleopatra. Like,
yeah,
me. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
there are certain people who thought that was history.
I wouldn't want that on the flip. I wouldn't want a Caucasian or other race, actor playing a historical,
Black person.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that makes no sense to me. So I'm going to respect that in the reverse. If Anne Boleyn is a British woman and she wasn't Black in real life, and you're portraying this is an actual figure that you're portraying, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that, like this African-American actor is having her chance, but to me, let's not rewrite history. Let's not change. How about we find a role? Because I'm telling you what's happening with period pieces. The period pieces, they don't know where to put a Black actor because
we just in the back.
Because back then
we weren't there.
Right.
Or we might have been in the court. We might have been in the British court, honestly.
We were like,
we weren't any
right? Yeah, or the cute girl that the king wanted after hours, right?
Yes. Exactly.
But like, so now they're like, well, we want to make this person a leading, but that's just not what was happening. You know what I mean? Like, so I personally feel a certain way because I wouldn't want that to happen on the flip. I would never want a historical African-American or historical Latina woman to be portrayed by a Caucasian woman or an Asian woman. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. They're asking a couple more questions in this regard. This AKA lady says, how do you feel about Halle? I love Halle playing the Little Mermaid, which was controversial. And thank you, RM. Her name is Jodie Turner Smith. I could not remember her name, playing Anne Boleyn. Thank you. My moderators are the best. And then a question Ace has is, what about Zoe Saldana being casted as Nina Simone? I thought that was horrible that they painted that lady blacker to get, instead of just giving a beautiful brown skinned woman who looked like Nina Simone, had her more aura. That
was terrible
flavor.
Like, and listen,
they pasted a nose on the lady.
I love it, but that was hard to even look at. Like, I couldn't even watch it because I love Nina, but why couldn't we find someone that embodied Nina? That's ridiculous. Like, anyways, no, that was a fail. Yeah. I think with Halle playing the Little Mermaid, now the Little Mermaid is a cartoon character, right? So when we talk about race, I don't think it really matters, right? She's not a historical, like, somebody that we knew dug up from the ocean and we knew she was white or whatever. So I know that there was controversy over that, but
People was mad.
I didn't see a big deal with that because the Little Mermaid is a cartoon. She could essentially be green, and we can't fight that, right?
Yeah. I got another one for you though. There was you all remember Brad Pitt doing Troy, right? Remember that movie?
Yeah.
So Netflix did a version of Troy. It was a miniseries, and Achilles was played by a black actor. So what would be your thought on that?
Again, but see, like Achilles, right? Like,
you see what I'm saying? It's kind of in the same vein. It's like
it is, but these are like those type of characters, like these big, mythical, powerful. Do we really know what race he was?
No.
You know what I mean?
But I just need them to stop making Egyptians look like Karen from HR. I just need you to stop doing that. If anybody's listening, since we want to talk about proper historical context, let's not Elizabeth Taylorize The ancient Egyptians. I'm just gonna say it out loud. She's not Karen from HR. We're not.
But here's the thing, though. Jesus looked like a surfer dude when I was growing up. So
this is not my Nubians. Where we at? Where we at in history, guys? The panel is closed in the back. I see some people have joined. Hit the like button. I have DL saying up here with me. Kid Nardak, who is also in LA, an actor, knows the business. They're helping me kind of dig up some of these Hollywood secrets, and just Kelley, she's doing a great job. Casting director, has been in the industry for years, behind the scenes, filling the roles of folks primarily in reality television shows. So she gave y'all great tips on how to get in there, be found, what you may need, what you may not need to do.
Bring a diaper.
Be ready for anything, apparently, in the auditions. Because we don't know what you're going to get. So what's the craziest thing people have tried to do to land a role?
Oh, you know, people are funny. They will send you like if this is back when we were like working, if we're working out of a studio or like an office, right? And they knew they had to come to that particular place audition. Like we'd get like gift baskets and, you know, like the thank you cards are sweet. Like, I think that's a nice touch, but like gift baskets and like edible arrangements and stuff, it's a little too much. Like we're not dating and we haven't selected you. I also just think it's important, especially for actors, to understand that while you can be fantastic, right? And maybe you even like were really great, like you did a great audition. There's something like, there's always a vision behind the director or the executive producer. And even if you did a better job than this other person, the vision of the character might have been more associated with that person. So I just don't want people like to beat themselves up, because the audition process is brutal. Like you have got to deal with rejection on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And I know that it can be hard on people, you know, take a toll emotionally. When you're like, I'm doing everything right and I did it, it sometimes it literally comes down to like you wore the wrong color. And
and you said that energy that day, the energy, what they felt from someone else might be different.
I always like to share this like quick true story, because
go ahead.
How hard it is. But like I was working on a pretty big reality show, and we were, you know, I would do my weekly or bi-weekly pitch meetings with the executives. And, you know, I'd get, you know, my edited tapes together. I'd have them in order for them to watch, and so we could discuss the potential talent, et cetera. And there was a girl like in queue, so they could just see the screen, like the still, but we hadn't hit play yet. And one of the executive producers was like, oh no, I don't need to see her. And I'm like, oh my God, like she's literally one of my favorites. She's amazing. Like, and he's like, no, she looks like my ex-girlfriend.
Sorry, I was muted. Okie dokie.
So don't
take it personal.
Like literally, that's a real story that really happened. I ended up fighting for her, and I made them watch her anyways, and they ended up loving her. But that was immediately his response. He was not interested whatsoever, because she looked like his ex-girlfriend.
See, it's so subjective, y'all. That's what's hard about the industry. You may know you're made for this or that, but it depends on who's in the room that day, you know, all kinds of things. So yeah, I think, do you coach people with the rejection side of it? Have you had to kind of offer that extra support when it's like, sorry, you didn't get it? No, she's like, that's not my ministry.
To be honest, in reality, we're dealing with so much volume of people and auditions and the process, and it's quick, right? Like we're often on projects, like we don't have time to go through every single person and say, I'm so sorry that like you weren't picked. Like we literally are the OG ghosters. Like we will ghost you, and
we done with that.
Not emailing you back. Like it's all love, but we have to go on.
Well, at least you guys know. Don't get offended. You don't hear from her ever again. This is not that type of party.
If something else crosses my desk, I will come and find you, and I hope you get it. But if you don't hear back from us,
leave me alone. It is what it is. All right. That's good to know. That's good to know. Miss Globe Girl was asking, and I'm going to let the gentleman ask one more question each. I'm loving the conversation here. How about Brad Pitt speaking of Jamaican patois in a movie? Ace Butterfly asked, does Hollywood feel threatened by an all-black cast film such as Black Panther? That's an interesting question.
First, I
What
want
do
to talk about the Brad Pitt thing.
Yes, the patois.
That was in Meet Joe Black. And he was, if you guys have ever seen that, he was deaf, right? And so he was at the hospital, and there was an older Jamaican lady that was really ill, and she's telling him, like, take me, like, I don't want to be here anymore. And he started speaking in patois. But Brad Pitt is so damn good, right? That you're like, go ahead and speak it. Like, go ahead. Because at that moment, he wasn't just like a Caucasian man. He was
trying too hard.
And that goes to show you that in the spiritual realm, or at least what they were trying to get off, is that it doesn't matter like what the outside is, right? Like that lady recognized him, and he was able to communicate with her the way she knew how. Yes. So I thought it was brilliant, and I think Brad Pitt is fine and brilliant. So
yeah, and it's funny.
He worked hard to learn it. Yes,
because later on in his career, he did Snatch, and his Cockney accent British accent was so horrible that he created an accent that would fit the character and he made the movie because you couldn't even understand
that talent.
Yeah,
that's the talent. So I got a co-sign with you on that one. He's a beast.
Brad Pitt can do no wrong with his life, and he's just so talented. Yeah,
he proved to this that he wasn't just pretty. He came in like, oh, give me the role. Let me show you what I can do, and like you have to respect that. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I bet he didn't poop his pants.
Lady. Go ahead.
I said, I bet he didn't poop his pants.
No.
Nah, I feel like Brad got that same swag that Idris got. He walked in.
Yes, they walk in, you stand up. You like, okay, what you want? You want this role? How much you want for it? Like this? That's what I presume happens with those guys. Shout out to Miss AKA Lady on the super chat. No comment. Just love. I'm glad you're enjoying the conversation, guys. We're going to wrap up here shortly. Give the guys one more question each and any follow-up questions in the chat. We've been enjoying our fantastic guest. Make sure you go on Instagram. Go follow her. If you want to be cast, go follow Girl Gang. And I think it's on Instagram, just Girl Gang Casting. So that you can get all the flyers and see stuff. Don't inbox her. Do not go crazy trying to figure out, hey, I'm here. I'm ready for you. No, she says she will find you. So please keep that in mind and don't go crazy. Who wants to go first, gentlemen?
I'll go first, and it's off topic, but again, this is closer to my side of the world with the Romeo Papa side, the red pill side, if you wonder what that stands for. So I just want to ask you this. Like, I didn't hear you at the very beginning. I was moving around, and I don't know if you said you were married or single or anything like that, but I want to make a statement, and I'm not talking about you, but I'm talking about you as the avatar. So a single woman who's like you, like obviously lovely, powerful, driven, focused. In a business is fast paced, like you said, right? It's crazy. You got to do this. It's Hollywood. How does that woman juggle that with the dating scene, trying to finding somebody or whatever? Is that something they just give up on, or is it how do you maneuver that? And if you don't want to answer, I understand what makes Suzette.
Got into her business. Okay.
It's very interesting nonetheless. I was in a long-term relationship, so I think just as I grew career-wise, like I had someone alongside that just kind of grew with it, and so it worked. He was also in the industry, but on another side, so he understood like my projects and my hours and what I needed to do if I needed to travel for work or shoots and vice versa. So, having somebody that understands that side of the business is always helpful. But it's also kind of like sucks because having two people that are both in the entertainment industry working project to project, right? When you really like, damn, can I just get like a banker that like knows how much he's making every year and like has a 401k? We're both freelancers, ain't got health insurance. You know what I mean? Like, well, now we do, but
both of you living that life is stressful, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, very stressful. And there definitely was pivotal times where you're like, oh my God, I just don't know if this is going to be it.
But now that you're successful, how do you breach that? I mean, I'm asking for the dudes in the chat because I'm telling you right now, your DMs are going to be stacked full. They're going to be everybody going to be shooting their shot. I just want to, for those guys who are wondering, like, well, how do you deal with that? Because we hear so much, especially in the YouTube world, of how people can't make connections. Like a lot of successful women are like men or intimidated by me. Have you experienced that sort of thing?
I've actually had guys tell me that, like straight up, like, you scare me or like you intimidate me because You know what I mean? Like, I'm so blunt, y'all. Like,
But nothing is wrong with you. You're just being you.
Thank you. I'm just so blunt though. Like, the moments that I have been single and have like tried to date, it is just crash and burn because it's just hard for somebody to keep up with like the wit and the move. And like, I don't know, it's just a lot in general, but it is difficult. And I can, I've casted tons of shows where I have interviewed successful women, business owners, lawyers, professional matchmaker. She was a professional matchmaker / lawyer that was single. And she's like, it's really hard. It's hard to date because a lot of men, and I hate to say this, I'm not speaking for everyone, but a lot of men are threatened by a woman that has her own, because in the back of his mind, he's thinking, what do I have to offer her? At any moment, she could leave me. You know what I'm saying? So it brings out those insecurities. I think, like, I've dealt with guys with like significant insecurities that it's like, yo, like, I'm good. Like, I'm chilling. I'm not even like that. But they can't wrap their mind around that. Like, they're always thinking that you're going to find something better or someone better because you're at a certain level. So it does suck, to be honest. And even my girls, some of my girls that work with me, like, they have a hard time dating too. We also have a hard time because we interview so many people, so many single men, and we hear the stories and we're just like, oh, no.
Well, thank you very much. And Suzette, you've been asking me, because you've agreed to do my show at some point. I didn't know a topic. I got the topic now. This is what I want to talk about. We'll work it out at some point.
With me?
Yeah, and you're gonna help me get some people. Maybe we can get Kelley to jump on there. Maybe I can get you. But to have the discussion, because I'm hearing a lot of things, a lot of tropes that I hear all the time, and we certainly don't have the time.
What she's speaking is my truth as well. I can agree with a lot of what she said.
Exactly. That's why I want to have that. I want to have that show closer to the RP side of the world. And then that's just, you asked me what show I wanted to do. That's it. That's the topic. That's the topic. Come on, we'll talk about it. I'll twist your arm about it later. Thank you for being honest, Kelley. Thank you.
Hey, look,
they're talking about trigger point, Kelley. Abort. Ex-butterfly talking about, she really revealed that men get intimidated by a woman. Yikes. I mean, this is kind of like par for the course. And again, we're assuming that men are marriage minded, where there's so much about that conversation that I think implicitly we have to kind of like, delve through the realities of it. Everybody we meet is not trying to marry us. Everybody we meet is not trying to do this or what.
I'm the casting director for Ready to Love.
Are you that one that was in Miami?
No, well, I actually passed the baton to my casting producer for this last 2 seasons.
Oh wow!
I did, the Sizzle first season, second season, Atlanta, third and fourth in Houston. And so when I tell you, I have interviewed hundreds, maybe even thousands,
of men and women, yes,
men of color,
yes,
from 30 to 50 age range. I have heard, like I said, the stories. So definitely lots to talk about there. But the men are very open and honest. But some of them have openly said that's why they will date down. They will date a woman that isn't as successful or that is more, just pretty, right? But not too intelligent, because she's no threat. And he knows that she won't leave him, because where's she gonna go?
Lot of mercy. I think we might need Kelley back on that type of show, DL. You're not gonna get all in my business.
Hey, Kelley, well, may I have permission to reach out to you, Kelley, because I would love to bring you on my platform and talk about this. I'm serious. I really would love to delve.
But you already know the answers to what you're gonna ask.
No, I don't. No, you got to ask the questions. I do not know, and it's a point of view from someone, like she said, thousands of successful men. I want to hear those stories, and maybe I can help her understand give my take on what these men have showed her, and then with the red pill lens. That's all. I just want to just have that talk.
Let's read the chat. All right, DL, let's read the chat. It says, why would a man, thank you, lovers of animals, with high self-esteem have a problem with a woman making money? You do not need someone inadequate anyways. And then I just heard from SuzetteSpeaks on my show he just did with me, saying it would be a disrespect for a woman to not be her full self and her full expression of talent and impact if that's a true man, right? That's what he said. It would almost be an embarrassment or almost kind of like a disrespect to him. But that's what they say in the speeches, Kelly. But then when you live in your life, that's not what we get.
So there's definitely a class of men that's what they want. They want the Michelle Obama. They want a partner that can help motivate them and help thrive and make money and start businesses. But for the other men, they are not there yet. You know what I'm saying?
So like, where they at? Where they at?
Oh Lord!
See, like I said, that's another show.
A lot of them, especially as you mature, are already married, second marriage, or are tired of being married and divorced and really don't want to be married again. They're off the market, all kinds of stuff. So just to find that person, I'm encouraging more and more ladies who are in their 20s to be open and start looking, because I feel like there's a lot of scarification that happens as men get older, just like it is for women. And so we're assuming that, you know, we have these picture perfect, at least resumed people that are also emotionally mature and healed. Like there's so many people I realize they want me to heal them. I can't heal you, my brothers. You have to work on that. This is not therapy hour, but this is a date. Let me eat my lobster.
Yes. And just because Kelly is so upfront and she has to be in that business, I think it would be the perfect person to talk to, because we don't have to worry about walking on eggshells. We're going to get the real.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay.
The only difference is the Red Pill community did not admit to being intimidated. I think all this talk like they want us, I don't think they want us in the first place. I think that's a good soundbite, and it's like what is culturally appropriate to say. But I don't think in reality they actually do want a woman who is, you know, fully expressed on her, you know, grind and doing her own thing and self-sufficient in a way. I don't think that's what they want. I think that's the problem. I think they say that, but that's not really what they want.
So, okay. So what I'll do, I'll reach out to Kelly and we can hopefully set something up. And Suzette, you can ninja watch. And if you decide to jump in, I have the link standing by for you.
You know the answers.
I'm just saying, you can ninja watch. I had the link ready in case you want to jump in there. That's all.
All right.
Otherwise,
me
and Suzette.
I appreciate you bringing things.
I'm not downing the men, right? Because like I said, I can give you examples and stories from the guys that are solely looking for that and the ones that have openly admitted to like not wanting that because of X, Y, and Z reason. But I'm also going to blame some of these women, because I feel like we live in a society where women are just giving away everything on date 2. What do you think is going to happen?
And then they meet me, then they maybe meet you, and then we're like, I'm sorry, you thought we were supposed to do You thought you were supposed to what? I'm sorry, I'm gonna eat this lobster. Just like I said, RM, I'm gonna eat this lobster. You're not gonna do. What are we doing here? What are we doing, sir? They say DL, you a salesman. Chemo said he don't like the partner word. OMG. This is not tonight's conversation, y'all. This is not
sorry. I'm sorry, y'all.
You get us in the wrong direction. Lover of Animals says there are men that will appreciate you. It's just many Black women have to look outside the box. And that can come in at there. Here we go. With different colors. See, we're going. DL, look what you did. We're talking about Hollywood here.
I had to know.
You got everybody revved up.
No, that's another whole stream. So appreciate you though. Thanks for coming up. Y'all check out his channel. Please drop it in the chat. DL saying he often interviews Hollywood insiders. We had a great conversation on his channel the other night. Folks who are, I guess, writers and all kinds of stuff. It's very interesting to learn how this all works. Any upcoming shows you want to plug, DL?
I did one today just on a Pew research study about basically the middle class is just disappearing, and I basically premised it around Andrew Tate, who is real big in the RP world, and some of the things that he was saying, and it's I thought it was pretty cool. It was just me. I didn't have anybody on. I was just going through the article and was just looking at the numbers. And one of the things that struck me about these numbers is that married couples or people who are clicked up do better. That those households do better than single people, and those numbers are growing, and they're moving into the highest tier financially. And then those single people are either barely maintaining or they're falling to the lower tiers. And I thought that was interesting. This is not a Black thing neither. This is a Pew study. It's just Americans, and I thought that was great. So so yeah, I'm RP, but I'm not the hurt guy. I'm simply trying to figure it out. And I see Suzette, I see Kelley, I see all these beautiful women of all, shapes, colors, and everything. And it's like, well, what's going on? Because we're hurting ourselves. And everybody on my boys, Fresh and Fit and all that, they all say the same thing. We're better together than we are apart. Talking about men and women, we are better together.
I believe that too. Don't think I don't.
So upcoming shows.
Kamikaze adds, some men have found balance and peace within their lives and just aren't seeking complex relationships. Interesting. All right, we ain't gonna go there. Thank you, DL. Appreciate you being here.
Y'all take care.
Soon. All right, my friend, take care. Thanks for coming up. And then there were 3. All right, Kenardak, your final question from Ms. Kelley Allen.
Thank you again for having me up. So, not necessarily a question, but more of a request. You were born and raised in Los Angeles. So was I. Okay. Can you please debunk the misconception about the LA reputation? Because Hollywood is here and people associate that with superficiality and just want to spread it across. So please educate the folks that we're not, the ones who were born and raised here are different from those who come here for opportunities.
I literally say this all the time because when people are like, oh, where are you from? And I'm like, LA, like, oh, you're a unicorn, right? And it's like, oh, but I heard this and that. I'm like, That's not fair, because when you go to certain pockets, especially near Hollywood, because that's where most of the transplants come, because they're looking for that dream.
Right.
That's not a true LA native. You know what I'm saying? They are a transplant. So they are bringing in whatever energy, culture, beliefs from Minnesota and South Dakota,
Texas, Alabama.
Exactly. So it's such a melting pot, but it's not a true representation of an actual LA native.
Thank you.
So I'm constantly like fighting for that, just so you know.
Thank you. Educate. Yes.
Yeah. So everybody who claims LA ain't from LA.
Thank you.
And it's not one culture. So thank you. You could probably hook up with her in terms of the casting side. Yay.
Hey.
The
to be
actor,
continued,
yeah,
I'll say.
good people. So I'm sure hit her up or at least go follow her on Insta. Thank you for being a part tonight and offering such great, thoughtful questions. Appreciate you being here. All right.
Thank
See you very
much.
soon, Kenardak. Please go to his channel. Actor, poet, so much going on over there. Just a soulful brother. Appreciate you as always. All right. Have a great one. Take care.
All
right. LA in the building. All right, then there was one. Kelley, I have enjoyed this. I hope you can do this, or maybe here or on DLs or wherever again. It's always great when we have people that can enlighten us as to something that many of us find very, cloaked as far as the industry, the entertainment industry. So you've offered a lot. I'm grateful that you took the time to hang out with us here on the SuzetteSpeaks show. Any final words, things that I know you have your book, things you want us to remember?
Yeah.
Final takeaways, please.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. And thank you for the opportunity. Like I said, I love being able to talk on all topics because I'm living and breathing all this stuff. So it's great to like have an outlet. I just wanted to pump, like the show that is currently airing. There's a couple of shows that I did that are currently airing. So the #1 show on Netflix, The Ultimatum, be sure to check that out. Binge watch. It is crazy. I also me and my team did the CW's March, which is about the HBCU Prairie View A&M marching band, the Marching Storm. So take a look at that if you haven't on the CW network. And there's just all kinds of cool stuff coming up. So just follow Girl Gang Casting for other opportunities and announcements of projects to come. And the book is it's done, it's written. Now we're getting the process. So as soon as that gets all done, we will be sure to share. And you guys really, really want to read this book. It's pretty insane.
If just what you gave, the snippets that you offered, more than the snippets that you offered tonight is, I'm sure you've lived interesting things that you've also lived. The book is going to be fire. What's the name of the book? Do you have a title for it already?
Like Casting Diaries, like my real interviews from reality TV casting, blah, blah, blah. But like Casting Diaries is essentially the one.
When it's dropping, come back.
Yeah, it's like volume 1. So it's like a quick, easy read. There's like 7 chapters of like really interesting interviews that I've done over the years that I wanted to highlight. But like I said, the overall takeaway is you just cannot judge a book by its cover. And that's like the biggest message that I'm trying to get out with even reading some of these odd stories.
I love it. People are like, yes. Quavandra's like, yes. Marching Storm. RM says, yes. I love marching bands.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm really excited that there's, more food for thought based on just what you've offered tonight. Things I know I didn't know. But make sure you go support her. Go on Instagram, follow her, check out her website. It's pretty dope as well to understand what she does, how you, if you were looking to be casted, can come through and be a part of this industry. And then I think there is more openness to it. There is more access. There's more Kelley Allens now that offer a different mindset when putting people in roles, etc. So I want to thank you, my sweetheart. I hope you come back. Best of luck. I'll probably definitely be checking out what you got posted, especially for here in Miami, since we are neighbors. But thank you so much. Shout out once more to casting director Kelley Allen, founder of Girl Gang Casting Collective. Much success. Continue to diversify our screens for us, will you please? And I appreciate you. And congratulations on all your success and continued success in all your projects. All right. You're welcome back every time.
Fun. Yeah, let me know. We can do this all the time, girl.
Definitely when the book drops. I would love to have you back. I've enjoyed it. Take care, sis.
All right.
Thank you so much. This was fun, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I did. Definitely got some behind the scenes what Hollywood is doing and what's been going on. I'm gonna definitely get her book when it comes out. So Casting Diaries, as she said it's called, and of course support her projects, right? Ultimatum. I saw it. I was trying to avoid it actually on Netflix because I was like, should people be giving ultimatums? But there's a twist to it, is what I realized. And of course, the March, those shows. Let's support her. Let's support the shows that are giving work to people of in and of our community, right? So hit the like button one last time before y'all go. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, Gideon says, you all were awesome. Great show, says Film Girl Productions. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. All right. Thanks for all your support. Shout out to all my Patreon members. I'll be live again Saturday 12 talking with a woman who is producing a color run in Palm Beach to give back to the community. 12 on Saturday. Monday, I think I will have Maggie, the substitute teacher, talking about her weight loss journey. That will be after, I think we're going to do a little later, Maggie, maybe 9. On Monday. Tuesday, Kirk Anderson, we're going to be discussing Lizzo's new show, The Big Girls, or Here Come the Big Girls. And he is a fitness expert, and he's not really into, what the representation seems to be saying as far as a message. So we're going to debate that a little bit. So Tuesday, so we have a full schedule coming up. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you'll know when I go live. And again, please even when this the broadcast ends for real tonight, you can go back below the broadcast and comment. That helps me in the YouTube algorithm to get seen and for other people to enjoy tonight's show. All right, I think I covered everything. Thank you guys. She Got Gay Media. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. This was fun. Thank you. Appreciate all my super chatters. Great show. Glad you guys enjoyed. I enjoyed it. So great show tonight. Thank you, Mandrell. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you. Yeah, we'll see what Maggie, we haven't planned yet, Ace, but Maggie said yes when I reached out to her. Yes, I will make sure in the live tonight. Not going to mess up again. Sweet Dream says, RM, thank you to my moderators. Thank you all for watching. Hit the like button on your way out, and I'll see you guys on Saturday. Have a great evening. Take care, guys.